there we go. This meeting is being. Got it. All right, guys, everybody, welcome to the PDA broadcast. If everything is going correctly, bear with me here because this is new for us. So we recognize, first of all, we're new to the social media live broadcasting scene, right? So we're learning as we go. And one of the things that has been that we have figured out, that we have deducted, is that sharing the live broadcast of our show is not as easy as it could be. And as people who are asking people to come and watch us, it seems silly that we should make it any harder for you than we absolutely have to. And so we're trying to update our broadcasting parameters in order to make it easier for people to watch. So we're trying to verify this now, but if we're successful, what we've been trying to update is we have added, along with the positively disagreeable group, a positively disagreeable page, so that people can watch who haven't yet, I would say, because hopefully they will enjoy it so much that they will then join the group and start participating. But for those of you who haven't joined the group yet and are interested in watching the video, we will be broadcasting from the page, and anybody can watch the page. No invitation required, no membership required, and above all, a big reason for this is that we also want everybody to be able to like and share and the broadcast with other people, so that we can get more and more people watching and participating. So hopefully, Victor here is supposed to be verifying that we are in fact now broadcasting from the new page. Victor?
Yeah, I'm on the page. I don't see it broadcasting, but
okay. So I know, and here's the other thing too. I'm not seeing it on the group either, because. But
so
to be,
what it seems like, can you hit refresh, Victor? I
Let's try
believe
that.
it's posted on the page right now. I'm trying
Yes.
to get it linked to
on the page.
group.
Okay. And I know I'm not great at I've always just when we go live, I get a notification that says, the positively disagreeable group is now broadcasting, and I just always click on the notification. I don't ever actually do it from the dashboard. So I didn't get a notification that we're broadcasting from the group. We're going to be working on this. So let me really quickly, and I apologize for anybody who is listening live, because this is obviously, not how we normally start the show. But we do have people that have been, watching us and being loyal to the show and the group. And before we get started, I do want to just post to them that they can follow the link on our group desktop to the new broadcast location. So give me 1 second.
Sweet. Okay, so we are on definitely on the page, and I figured out how to post and like using
Awesome.
my own profile, because originally, because I'm an admin, all my chats and comments were coming up from Positively Disagreeable page, and so you have to set it up so it's actually coming from your profile rather than the page.
Can you go ahead and check the group? It should be live there as well.
Oh,
You want me to do that, or you got it, Adam?
yeah, I'm on it. Still don't see the notification. refresh. Did you turn it off and turn it back on again? Yay! Looks like we are live on the group as well. And just real quick, based on our previous the conversation we were having previous to getting on, there is a delay. I just opened it up to make sure we can see the comments while we're doing the show. So I'm not going to be searching for anything now. So hopefully the rest of the show won't be have so many during the show. So like I said, the whole point of this is we're trying to get as many people involved as we can, not only because we are narcissists that need the approval of people we don't know, but no, more importantly, it's because the whole point of the show is to kind of, promote the idea of people positively disagreeing with each other, and the idea that, getting people with different viewpoints together and talking these things out and learning from each other. We've talked about all this stuff before, but none of that happens if it's the three of us and our wives watching. So we want to get people on, and we've been realizing
your wife doesn't watch.
that sometimes she does, but no, often she doesn't. People, we would send people, hey, watch our show, and they'd be like, cool, send me a link, and we're like, hey, but first go to the group and then ask to be a member, and then we'll accept your membership, and then go back to, and often people who have never heard of the show before and don't even know for sure that they want to watch it would be more likely to watch it if we could just send them a link and they could check it out for a second and see if they like it. So we couldn't do that from the group format. So we still have the group. We're going to keep the group. There's a lot of things that you can do with the group that we're hoping to do as the membership grows and we have more opportunities to do those things. But we now also have the regular page, and we'll be broadcasting from both, so people that are used to watching on the group can continue to do so. And we did that on purpose because we didn't want the 10,000 people that were already watching to have to go find the new, or the 10, whatever it is, to find the new. Okay, so both pages will be broadcasted from moving forward. Comment on either one. I am going to have comments up from the group. Victor's going to have the comments up from the page, and so we'll be reading those as we always do as we go along. One of the things in this whole enlightenment of making it a better experience for the people listening that we've been talking about is we've had viewers talk about the time it takes for us to comment on the comments that they're posting. So to just clear it up for everybody, that is not us actually ignoring your post or not being on top of it. We are actually like so desperate for you guys to post that we see them the second. No, but we're definitely paying attention, because again, participation is a big part of what we're trying to do with the show. And so except for some minor exceptions where because this is a new show, we forget to like go in or something, for the most part we have all that stuff up and ready for the moment when y'all's comments to come in, so that we can get it out there and have everybody commenting on it. But what y'all need to be aware of is as far as we can tell, both from this show and other shows that we've watched on Facebook that are a live broadcast, there is a delay. It's not a huge delay, but what you're hearing right now, I said yes or no. I said, I don't know, 45 seconds, a minute ago. And so it's not a matter of how quickly we respond. It's not, to be fair to Facebook, that your posts aren't going up the second you put them on, because we're pretty sure that they are. It's just a matter of the fact that you're hearing stuff a minute after we say it. And then, of course, you have to write out your post and it comes up. And so there's a little bit of delay in that. We we'll continue to, watch for them and be aware of them as soon as they come up and comment them as quickly as we can in a way that makes sense and doesn't interfere with the show, right? And so, or interfere with somebody on the show that's already talking, I guess, to be more clearly. So please comment. We want you to be a little bit patient with our response to the comment, but we will get on them as quickly as we possibly can. And hopefully, is there anything else about any of that? And just to sum that all up, this is all because please like the show if you like it, share the show if you like the show, send people links to the show so that they can easily click on and see how amazing it is and how badly they want to keep watching it. Let's make this a thing. I think I like doing the show. I think it's fun. I think we have a good time. But look, I think we are running out of places these days to do this, to like show up, talk to people about what we're thinking and be honest about it, right? And talk to other people who agree and disagree with us about it. That's a really important thing in society that used to be a lot more commonplace. And I think it's how a lot of people kind of cut their teeth on what they think is acceptable and not acceptable. And, we need this. We need to be able to bounce what we're thinking and the ideas that we're having off of other people, groups, hopefully not just one other person, right? A group of people so that we can get some feedback on, what other people think and why they think it and so forth. I think it's really important. I think that's how change happens. And we want to help do that, and we need a group to do that with. And when you consider there's not that many places you can go and have that conversation without people shitting all over you for it, here's one place you can do it. So come and join us and have that conversation. And we might not agree with you, so I guess it depends on your definition of getting shitted on. If we think you're wrong, we're going to tell you that, but we're not going to hate you for it. We're not going to cancel you for it. We're not going to think you're a horrible person because you disagree with us. So it's a safe place to come on and tell us what you're honestly thinking and have people honestly give you their opinions on it. And not just us, the group, as the group grows, it'll be us, it'll be the people watching and commenting, guests that we bring on the show and so forth. So let's make it a bigger community. I think the bigger the community is, the better job we can do at figuring it all out. So anybody else got anything to say about it? Or am I a genius and I covered it all?
You're a genius.
Pretty much covered it all.
So any of Dot's friends that just to give a shout out, by the way, since we're always excited about people participating, we I think gained like 12 new members to the group last week. So not just people watching the show, but people who like put some serious effort into wanting to be able to watch the show, because up until now it took a little bit more effort. Anyways, we're excited about those new members. We're excited about the fact that hopefully they'll be listening. We're excited about the fact that they will hopefully participate and while they're listening. We said it last week, but a lot of them hadn't gotten an opportunity to start listening as of last week. We want everybody to comment. You don't have to agree with us to comment. That's kind of the point. Feel free to tell us how stupid we're being. We will still read it and won't be mad at you for doing that. And also, if there's something that you want to talk about that you are afraid of public reaction to, one, there's not much of a public yet. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, if you want to pick a different name, or if however you want to do it, we're happy to accommodate that. If you want to start another Facebook page, or just tell us not to use your name, however you want to text us, and then we can read your information anonymously. We're happy with any of that. We will accommodate. So
Accommodate. Good work.
Looks like we have a comment. Did you your end, or is it just on my page?
Hey, yeah, I see it too.
Cool.
Hey, Hernan, looking good, buddy. How you doing?
Thanks for listening, Arnon. We appreciate you participating. Was there anything from last week that real quick before we do anything else, like we still never read all the comments from Bullet from like 2 weeks ago. I hate to be wrong about this. I read through a lot of them. I feel relatively safe in saying that I didn't see anything of the comments I didn't read that wasn't about stuff that we'd kind of already addressed at some point. Like I didn't read anything and go, oh, we didn't mention that. We should talk about that. Bullet, if you're listening and you've watched the shows and I missed something that was really important to you, follow back. Let us know. We'll comment on it. I'm not trying to avoid doing it. I just I feel like maybe we covered it all. So let me know otherwise. But aside from that, what were we talking about last week? I don't even remember anymore. We did a
couple things. We did the what's it called? Race
yeah.
in schools.
Theory.
Yeah, critical race theory.
There you go. It helped when we sent a reminder out. Okay. Because you're part, just to be clear, because now that we have the page, you're part of the group, right, Hernan?
Yes, he is. I believe he's in the group.
Hernan? Am I what?
Hernan.
Hernan.
Like Herman, except with an N.
Yeah.
Hernan.
Fair enough. Not a bad idea, Hernan. We will verify ways to send out a reminder. Definitely. For what it's worth, we do it every Sunday. I would say at 3:00, but if you watch Hernan, you know that's often not true. We're shooting for 3:00 every week. So for anybody who's watching who isn't aware of that, right? Because not everybody who does stuff like this, some people just like randomly broadcast and stuff. So anybody listening, we do it every Sunday at 3:00 and around 3:00 unless like something, if it's like a holiday or, but I mean, I think we've only missed like 2 weeks since we started doing it in January.
I will tell you what, my buddy Hernan, who's we've been talking about and watches and listens, he's one of the people that I know that is the most up to date on local politics and just the political now. He has and that would definitely be a good person to come on if he'd like to, but he will browbeat you to death.
You doubt my abilities, Victor. No, that sounds great, man. If you have a topic,
sounds something like someone else I know.
If you have a topic that you feel passionate about, want to come on and do a show with us, we did one with Jack, two in fact with Jack. We're always up for that. We've kind of talked about at the beginning of the show. We want to build the PDA community as much as possible. I've said it, and it's worth repeating. I will talk about anything on the show. I have a theory.
He has a BA and BS.
I believe strongly in the idea that we owe a debt of gratitude to anybody, no matter what it is that they're talking about, whether I agree with them or not. If you're willing to come on, give us honestly how you feel about it and be willing to debate with us about it. And when I say debate, like actually, interact with the debate, not just say what you think and then, be like, but like, if, you'll respond to our questions about why you think it and facts,
the whole speak
come up with it, maybe disagree with it and have an actual back and forth with us about it, then, if you want to come on and talk about like, I'm just trying to think of like some really crazy shit, like why Nazis are awesome or something.
Check out his post or check out his comments. because we did touch
Yeah,
on
we
that a
started
little bit
talking
last
about
week.
that last week. We can do that. I'm down for
We can
that.
definitely do that. It's one of our main things that we talk about, or an issue that we do have interest in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know that. I mean, I don't know. We've talked about it a ton, but I mean, it's a good topic. I'm down. We could definitely. That's definitely something we can do a segment on, and you be more than welcome to have you on. It sounds like it's something that you know about. So, that could be definitely fun. We can definitely do that. We'll set that up for sure. Um, anyways, yeah. So, regardless of the hot, in fact, I would argue that an even greater gratitude to somebody who's willing to come on and express an opinion they know to be unpopular and be willing to honestly talk about it and honestly express why they feel that way. Regardless of how much I disagree with you, that's we all if we were doing that more, I think we could get further along in these conversations, right? We have
Oh
to be
yeah,
willing
absolutely,
to have those conversations.
absolutely.
So that's what we're trying to do, which is why I say we want everybody to participate. We love to bring people on. We'll talk about any topic that one of our viewers is really interested or knowledgeable in, or has questions about, or would like to just hear what other people think about it, all that good stuff. That's why we're doing it. So please participate. Please feel free to join in. Recognize that we take care of our viewers. Nobody's gonna, at least on this show, do anything more than adamantly debate you. So we're not gonna let nobody gets to be abusive or hurtful or any of that kind of stuff. It's a safe place to work that, talk through stuff. So feel free to participate. And I kind of said it quickly before, but like, feel free to tell us how wrong we are. That's the whole point of the show. If we're talking about something and you think we have our heads up our asses, make sure you tell us so that we can talk about how far up our asses our head, exactly how far up our asses our heads are. uh Hernan
That's a good
says
idea.
there should be posts about the show coming on shortly. Yeah, that's a good idea, man. We should do that, and hopefully, and we'll look into it from the group. Um, I mean, I know when we post, it goes out as a post, but we'll definitely. That's a good idea. It's a good idea, especially since we're not always right on time. So yeah, we'll definitely start doing that. Thank you for the idea. All right, so let's start talking about some shit other than our show, because it's not a show about where we talk about our show. But guys, please, yeah, I mean, we're definitely trying to build up the community. One of these days we'd like to be rich famous podcasters, but most of all, we'd like there to be at least enough people on the show that we get lively debate and comments on the topics that we're talking about. Oh, and I'm sorry, I don't want to keep doing this, but also it's been a while since we've talked about this, but when we originally built the group, there are places on there where you guys can go in and continue the conversation if you want to with us or with other people watching the show. But also, I think there's three of them. I can't remember what the other one is, but the other one that is a favorite of mine that nobody uses is a place where you can go in and post ideas, things you
Topics.
want to hear us talk about, topics that you think would be good topics for the show. And the good news is right now, like, you have all the chance in the world of getting your topic talked about, because there's
That's
not
right.
people putting
Immediately.
anything in there. So if you post on there that we should talk about the Smurfs, there's about like a 95% chance next week we're going to be having a conversation about little blue dudes in white pajamas, is all I'm saying. Okay, so you want to hear something, you're going to probably hear it. So go on there and give us some ideas of what you want to hear about. Heck, I mean, if you really just want to pick a topic to see how silly we look like talking about it, I might even just do that, just to give you, prove to you that we will use the topics if you put them on there. All right, so Dot,
we have Suggestions, live comment, and debate room.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So we're going to drop the live comment one because we've really realized that it's a lot easier to just open up the live stream page to see the comments, and it's been exclusively where the people live watching decide it's a good idea to post the idea. So I'll remove the live commenting one, so that's not confusing. Dot. Sorry. I think it has been a while since we have had a dot topic on the show. So what do you want to talk about today, man?
Dot topic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my birthday weekend, so I've been focused on that.
All right. Well, happy
talking about
birthday. You get to pick
Pacquiao
the
getting
topic.
the brakes beat off of him yesterday.
What happened?
We could talk about Pacquiao getting the brakes beat off of him yesterday.
Oh, I heard about it. Didn't see it, but heard about it.
It was great. That's one time for Cuba.
Yeah.
He's like 50 years old now, though.
Yeah, hey, you want to piss with the pachyderms, you got to be ready.
I mean, if you
we can talk about Afghanistan and
ooh, yeah, we can do that one. To me, that's a good topic. That one just seems kind of like I don't want to say it's simple. It's not simple, but like what happened seems to be pretty simple, and people seem to want to be like blowing it into this thing that it's not. I mean, it was like another Vietnam. Like we got out of Vietnam, we know we should have gotten out of Vietnam. Like nobody, however many years later now, is like, boy, that was a dumb mistake. We should still be there fighting today.
For the last 15 years, people have been Americans have been wanting us to get out of Afghanistan. This is what
absolutely.
It looks like.
I mean,
and what it looks like.
Yeah, and from a political standpoint, like Trump was doing it until
Trump was doing it.
I'm not trying to knock on I'm not trying to get into a conversation about good or bad presidents, but like Trump like campaigned on it, wanted to do it, would have done it had he gotten another 4 years, almost certainly.
He
started to do it, and
then we would be out by the end of August.
Yeah, and then we have this bipartisan thing. Not only like both sides agree with it, not only like from a political standpoint, but like from citizens, and then we do it, and it seems like all of a sudden Republicans are trying to make it into this horribly stupid idea that they thought was amazing a year ago.
The Democrats straight up just let their poor president like hang out in the wind too.
Yeah, and I think they're morons too. Though I mean, because again, this is kind of just a simple thing. Like it was going to happen eventually. What happened when we pulled out was going to happen when we pulled out. The only difference was going to be how much money, resources, and lives did we put into it before we did it, right? But I feel like the Democrats who got upset about it were going to get upset about it when Trump did it as well. What bothers me about the other side getting upset is that they thought it was a good idea until the Democrats did it, and then it became a bad idea, which it's like, it's either a good idea or it's not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like, it is. I mean, it is a terrible exit. I mean, the things that are happening are really horrible. I don't know that anybody would have exited in a way where these terrible things wouldn't have happened in one. I mean,
and that's the other thing is that nobody before it actually happened thought that the collapse was going to happen in 3 days. Everyone kind of figured, Afghanistan's going to collapse as soon as we leave. That was kind of a given.
And we did spend
it just weren't on the speed of things.
Right. And there is, I will say it's a little disappointing. I mean, I think we spent like 100 and I was going to say 140 million in my, I don't know.
It's like some kind of $1 trillion. It's like one.
Oh no, on the war altogether. I know. I meant specifically on training, Afghani forces.
And giving them weapons, tanks, and airplanes.
And the whole idea was for this not to be as bad or as quick or ideally not happen at all, right? And that sure seemed to be a waste of money.
That's what's the rough part is you see some of the new stuff and they're all carrying like American weapons now.
Yeah. So Hernan, I think is saying the same thing. I think he obviously said it a little quicker than I did, especially when you take into consideration the delay. But yeah, I think we did overestimate what the Afghan army was going to be able to do when we left. But I mean, I also think
But you got to
like the
remember, and this
idea that they
this
were
is
going to do
semantics here.
anything
This is
was
semantics
like
here, but the Afghan army was the actual army that was on our side or was on Afghan side. It's the damn, what are they called now? I should know
the
this.
Taliban who's taking
Taliban that came
Right.
and the Afghan army basically collapsed. The Afghan
Right. What
army
he's
was
saying
like,
is kind of, I think, what I was saying, was that we spent a lot of the time that we were there, we spent a lot of time and money training the Afghan military
right,
to do
right,
what we were
right.
doing while we were there, to keep everything civilized and to keep the Taliban from taking back over. And he's suggesting that we overestimated their ability to do that. I would
It was
argue
the
that I
this
don't
is
think
the
we did overestimate what they were going to be able to do. I think that we knew that this was going to happen when we left, and that you know that you train them up because that is what you can do, and to not even do that would be worse, right? But I would question if anybody honestly thought that the Taliban, I mean, not in 3 days, but I don't know that
I believe,
anybody high up was really like would have bet the house on the fact that the Afghan army was going to keep shit in check after we left. That's all I'm saying. they might have said it
Well,
publicly.
you have two options on the perspective of that. One is, why did it happen? Because there's people who have to make the decisions whether to stay in or pull the troops out. So you got two possible, how would you say,
Reasons why
think
we
tank
left.
outcomes. One is they anticipate them to drop everything, and then you allow the Taliban, a rising power, to take all of that ammunition, which now gives us a second way to go back and hit twice as hard. Or they expected them to stand hold to the training that we have been doing for almost 20 years and hold down their own country. Which, yeah, we can say that that's what we expect them to do. And we give them the green light to go, and they do option B, which you have people in high places who are able to make these decisions. And we know that they already anticipated, if option B happened, what we will do. We will come back in with full force. Now we got another moneymaker, war.
I mean, anything's possible, but I gotta say, I haven't heard, read, or seen a single thing that would suggest we have any plans on going back ever.
Not
I
yet.
mean, period. I mean, like you could
But
say,
you
you could have
gotta,
said the same. I mean, you could say the exact same things you're saying about Vietnam. Everything you're saying is true in that scenario as well. War was a moneymaker then, just like it is now. Nobody in our government has ever suggested that we should have gone back to Vietnam and fought that fight again. Like it was I mean, it was a shit show from day one. It's been a shit show the entire time we've there. We've accomplished none of the shit that we wanted to accomplish, except driving out, the Taliban. But we knew the whole time that it was only because we were there. Like there was never at any point that anybody had any real hope in the fact that if we pulled out, shit wasn't going to go right back to the way it was before we got there. I mean, there's never been a question about that. I think the only reason we stayed in it as long as we did is because we didn't want to have to admit that we lost, and we were spending tons of fucking money. People were dying, and nobody ever thought there was going to be a good outcome from it. Not legitimately, not what I mean, not really. Like,
we went in and got what we needed, but there's
which
more
was
that we
what?
can also gain from it.
What did we get?
This is America. We have a military industrial complex, bro. You
So
know
what
what
did
the
we?
game is.
I know what a military. So what did
You
we?
got so always understand that there's people who make decisions on an executive level, then there's people who work on the phones.
Okay, but what? Can you tell me what it was
So
that
I don't know.
what we got?
I'm not on that level. All the only thing I can do is if I were in that if I was in that position, I would have to use, you know, my education, my training to come up to a conclusion, or I could use, you know, a base standard common sense.
Yeah, well, but I mean, the problem with doing that, in my mind, right? You can do that with anything, right? I mean,
Right,
you
right.
can look
That's
at
why I
any
say I could do one
scenario
or the other.
and assume that there's like actually some ugly truths that we just don't know anything about, and we can't comment or suggest anything that proves that those things are true
Right,
because we just don't know about them. But it
right. That's
also
why I
be
say you could do one or
very
the other. And I'm
easily,
not equipped to
yeah.
do. I'm
But it
not
could
equipped
also
to
be
do the other,
that
so
those
I
things
can't even
aren't
comment on
there.
that.
Yeah, right, right. I mean, yeah, obviously we went in for a reason, right? What that, the reason that we understand as to why we went in was not a good reason. I think there is a fair argument to make that a president who was not the smartest president in the world made what he might have, you know, the decision he thought was best at the time, like because the people who were in charge of planning the worst attack on our country, maybe since Pearl Harbor or even worse than Pearl Harbor, lived there. That's not necessarily the best reason to do what we did, but I think that might honestly be why it happened.
Nah, there's things that you call intel, man.
So what
There
is
are
the
things
intel?
that you call intel. Why we went into what we went into is not that whole puppy dog story that they want to say. It is way deeper
I
than
don't
that.
think that's a puppy dog story. I mean, I think it makes him look pretty stupid. I don't know that that's
Mm,
like.
it's one of those things, man, where there's a reason why things were done.
And they are.
Whether I don't have those reasons. I didn't make those
So then
decisions.
what makes you like just that? I
But
guess that's what bothers
what
me
I
a
am
little
okay.
bit
So
is that
well, don't
you're
let it bother
sure of
you.
something and you don't.
What I am saying is that if you tell me the things that already that you can just sit there and pick apart, like look, there's tangible evidence of this, there's tangible evidence of that, and that's a whole deep conversation to get into as a justifiable reason. That reason then becomes skewed, or there becomes holes in that reason. At that point, you got to throw the whole reasoning out and just
What are
call
the
it what it
skews
is
and the
because
holes in
you.
it? Then tell me
Oh
that.
Well,
man,
no, there are, and I've heard some
What
of
are?
them. I
Say
haven't
some
heard
of
some of
them. I
them.
go
mean,
ahead,
Okay,
go ahead, Vic. You got it.
here's
Take it.
one of them. So we knew that the one of the big things was that we knew that the attack came from the Taliban. All right, so we did want to go in there and get the Taliban,
yep.
flags burning and everything. And but the problem is they kind of did one of those like stone switching things on you, because the people that were actually, I'm damn it, I got it wrong. It wasn't the Taliban. It was the, what are they called? The actual terrorists.
Al
Okay, so there's
Qaeda.
two groups. Al Qaeda. Thank you. Okay, so we were after Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda was the one that had attacked us. We went into Afghanistan to get Al Qaeda. What turns out is that the Taliban, they don't like Al Qaeda either. Like, they're against Al Qaeda also. Taliban is not friends with Al Qaeda. They don't like terrorists. But yet
Okay.
we changed it up when we got over there that we were now against the Taliban also.
But Al Qaeda there. But for what it's worth, there were a lot of Al Qaeda members high up in the organization that were in Afghanistan that we went and killed and captured. Whether the
Yes,
Taliban liked them or not, that's still
right.
true. So
Absolutely true.
you can comment on the stupid ass shit we did after we got there, but that wouldn't necessarily change right or wrong, whether it should have been what we did, whether it was the right way to handle it or not. That still is not a hole in the idea of why we went there in the first place. Because the Taliban can hate them all they want, but if that's where they are, that doesn't change the fact that that's where they are. and our
Right,
president at the
but-
time said we're
but
going to
going
go
in
after
and-
him, and so we did.
Going in and attacking Al Qaeda is different than nation building and trying to prop up Afghanistan.
Which is what we did after we got there, right? But
Right,
that still
right.
doesn't change why we went there in the first place. And I mean, the comment I made from the very get-go was a president wasn't the brightest guy in the world, made a decision that was probably not the brightest decision in the world, which was to send massive troops into this tiny place where smaller, more targeted, more intelligent-based attacks would have probably been a much better idea, would have cost a lot less money, would have
That dude
cost a
is
lot less
extreme. That
lives.
dude was extremely smart and extremely powerful.
Who was?
Everybody in his family is. It's not just some random guy and he just locked up. And you can put the dumb image, and that's all a PR thing, like Jessica
I think
Simpson.
he's a random
But
guy.
That dude is
Or a
nah. That dude
moron.
is extremely. His whole family is. This is the game that they've been in for generations.
This is
bro.
all just like, okay, but like,
They know what
again,
they're
so
doing.
far, all I'm asking is tell me the lies that you're saying.
Victor just told you. I'm
It
in the
wa- but it-
store. It's long-winded. Victor just told you. You
But it
say,
was,
why are we going to somewhere? If he say we went into this, and then you say, well, then that's fine what we went
okay,
in for.
so
but
you
we
do
did
it,
this
Di.
while
You
we were.
tell me how the fact that the
Victor just told you
Taliban
why-
didn't like Al Qaeda makes
It's
that not a true
Okay,
story,
so it's not
other
about
than you
who
want it
didn't-
to be.
All right, so it's not about who didn't like who. You said why
Okay?
we went in.
That's what Victor
We
said.
went
That
in
you
for
said just
this.
prove the point.
It's no, you didn't, bro. Look,
That's
that's
what
like
he
me
just
saying
said.
I'm finna run up into this crib. Oh, but no, while I'm there, I'm gonna decorate, and I'm gonna spend years decorating, and then I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do these good deeds. Well, why are you here in the first place?
Which was what I
Oh,
said.
never mind why I'm here. Okay, well then the reason I'm here has holes in it.
How many times we
But
spend
while I'm
arguing
here,
about
I'm doing
things that
something.
I
We're
didn't
not.
actually
No,
say or disagree with?
you said why were we there?
Yeah,
It was for Al Qaeda, right? Which we knew they had nothing to
right.
do
So
with
so
what
to
we
be
said they
clear,
did,
the thing that we're
which
kind
is
of
wrong.
skipping over
Which
that I
we're not
said
skipping over
is
it.
that there's a
Listen,
difference
let
between
me
why
finish
we
talking, bro.
went and
All
why
right,
we
I'm in
stayed.
the show, bro.
But you're
Go ahead and continue. Go ahead and continue talking.
okay. Okay. I don't
That's the only thing that I have, is
disagree
that they really
with,
kind of switched it up on you. Is that we did
and I agree
originally
with that.
go in for Al Qaeda, and
Right.
then after that they said, okay, now we're against Afghanistan, or the damn, why can't I remember their names?
The Taliban. Right. Which was dumb, and we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have stayed as long as we stayed. We got tied down in shit we should have never gotten tied down into, and there was better ways to handle what we and look, I'm not. Is there other reasons we went into it? I don't know what those are. I'm saying, what are they? And so far, I'm saying nobody has said anything that would suggest it was other than what we said. If there is, tell me what those were. That's all I'm asking. And I'm saying the fact that once we got there, we switched things up and stayed there longer. I agree with all that. We should never been there in the first place, right? Regardless of why we went, if even the reason that we're told that I'm not sure I've ever heard.
Okay, let me entertain the monkey. Okay, we can go into the conspiracies that we went in for the poppy seed field, to take control over the oil,
There's
the
not a lot of oil in
heroin,
Afghanistan.
all the
That's
stuff that
Iraq.
they have over there that they
Afghan doesn't have
export.
oil.
The when we were first bombing the what was the poppy field? What are those called? Was it how to make heroin? We can get into the planes that went into the building. Why? I mean, I had a friend of mine that worked on the other wing of the Pentagon when it was hit. You know, so
So you're saying
I have people
you don't think it
on the
was.
ground that was there when this was happening.
So you don't
I
think
have
it was
people
Al
that live.
Qaeda?
So and I would and
I can
I'll
name
explain to
a
you.
bunch of.
I'll explain it to you like this, right?
Okay, but can we actually
You-
talk about these things?
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I can. I'll
Yeah,
explain
let's
to you
do
like
it.
this. We live in Texas. You're gonna hear more local news about what goes on here and at the border. You won't hear about news that go on at the border of Canada, will you? Not unless it's like network making news. Aside from that, we don't care what's going on in Saskatchewan or Ottawa.
Right,
No,
sure.
it does not. It doesn't affect us. So what
Okay.
I'm telling you is that I have friends that are from there that when it was happening, what was going on.
So why did they say we went in then?
These are things that all came out later, as when we're over there with the first when after the towers, and it's like you say, we went in to do this, but then they the distraction, oh, let's do that. Well, now we're just here. Give it time, people will forget about it, the bodies will stop, we'll have to take a hit on it, but hey, never let a good crisis go to waste, basically.
Well, that's what I was
motto.
Yeah, that's what I was beginning to talk about when we got into why we went in the first place, was why we stayed and how there wasn't a good reason. I completely agree with all that part of it. We shouldn't have been there as long as we have. We shouldn't have done, I mean, like, we shouldn't have changed courses. If it was about going after the people, then that shouldn't have taken very long, and we could have left shortly after taking care of that, and we didn't do that. That was all, dumb. We shouldn't have done that.
Wasn't it just on thing, because I just looked at the motherfucker.
But so far I still haven't, other than just like
just wait right here.
Ideas of an idea of other reasons why we went in there. I still haven't heard anybody come up with like a concrete reason other than the one that was given as to why we went. The poppy fields, I mean, anything's possible, but I haven't seen anything or heard anything that suggests that the US government has gotten involved in selling heroin here or anywhere else. So
why would you even hear that? You won't, bro.
I mean, silly. So that's okay. Which I'm always fair in the fact that I'm not going to say anything's impossible, but to just say it is possible doesn't make it fact either. I mean, like, where's the evidence that that's what happened? And you're just saying, well, why would there be evidence? Well, why do you think it happened if there's no evidence?
Bro, you're not going to get that type of evidence, so it doesn't become a conversation.
Okay, but that could also mean that it didn't happen. Both sides of that could be true, right?
So let's go with that narrative, and then that ends the conversation. No. Like you understand what you're asking?
I'm asking that if we're gonna accuse
right now
our government of doing
right now that there are other logistical reasonings, which you're not on the level to where you'll have the evidence. That information you're not privy to. So if you're wanting evidence, well, you don't have it. It didn't happen. Now we move on to another conversation. You can't ask a question about something that you cannot prove because the evidence is not supposed to be there. That's the whole point.
Okay. Well, no, I think partially you're right, Adam, is that yes, there may not have been an ulterior motive for going in, but I think there was a different motive for staying there.
I agree with that. That was one of the things I was trying to kind of get into. I agree with you. The reasons we went in were not the reasons that we were there for 20 years, because we didn't do that for the last 20 years. I mean, there's no legitimate argument to make that.
Pillaged and we did what we do, is why we don't have any other country military bases on American soil.
Yeah,
but we got military bases on every country's soil. Come on, bro. We are the silverback. We did.
There is also a legitimate argument that once we came in and got rid of the Taliban, right? I mean, so here are some not horrible things to say about that happened. Okay, we went in there based on why we went in there, right? We found the Taliban in place there. We found them.
We knew where they were at. We knew everything about them, bro.
Not the American public didn't. No, they didn't. The American public had never even heard the word Taliban before we went in there.
Decision maker per se.
And then it was on the news every single day.
When it comes down to making the decision, if I'm in a decision of where I'm having to send people's lives over to defend my agenda, I'm not worried about what the people are gonna say. They're like, no,
the people who get elected based on what those people say are definitely worried about.
We don't even elect the presidents. The electoral college
do know who the Taliban are.
Hold on.
The people that do get elected do know who the Taliban.
So what? That's not. I mean, again, you guys cut me off before I get to make my comment, and then suggest things that I'm not saying, right? So American people didn't know about Al-Qaeda, they didn't know about Taliban, they didn't know any of that shit. Then we were at war in Afghanistan, and we learned about all of this shit.
Didn't we fund the Taliban to fight Iran or some shit like that?
The goddamn comment, yeah. And did we
funded
the Taliban to fight against Russia?
Right, correct.
Yes, we did do that. Countries do that all the time to try to keep their soldiers from fighting. We didn't have any issues with them at the time. Anyways, and yes, Hernan, we're gonna get to your comments. I apologize. We've just been like going back and forth too much to take a stop to break, but I'm gonna hit your stuff up in just a second. I'm trying to say is the American people didn't know about any of these things. And then all of a sudden on the news every night was shit about this group of people in a country that were running the country despite the people who live there not wanting them to, that were doing shit like burning schools with kids in them because the girls weren't covering their faces properly, right? And I'm saying whether it was because it was the right thing to do or whether it was because the people in power thought that's what we wanted them to do, or because it was they thought if they went after this group that everybody didn't like, it might score them some political points. I think that had a lot to do with why we went after the Taliban once we were there, right?
Sure.
The problem was we do not have the time or the money or the understanding of the Middle East to have actually gotten rid of what causes the Taliban to thrive in that
Which
country.
is actually what everyone said when we were over there. Like when we
Right.
first came over, they said, "Don't do it. Don't
Agreed.
do it. Don't deal with it."
Agreed. Which is why, like, that's what I'm saying is I keep trying to make this argument of how we shouldn't have stayed there, and then y'all keep like, but why did we go? And y'all keep turning the why did we go into I think we should have stayed there for 20 years. I don't think that. I never thought that. I don't think we should have gone in the first place. Like, I don't think what our issue was that sent us over there required us to go over there in massive drones to deal with like 12 dozen people that we have all the technology and intelligence to deal with without putting fucking infantry units in on the country. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I've been trying to say the whole time. All right. Hold on. Let me back up here, brother. Give me just a second. Okay, so okay, what type of country is Afghanistan anyway? Poor, or poor question mark. Religion and guns, gun leads, question mark. Drug exporter, question mark. Controlled by outer forces, USA, Russia, etc. What type of country do you think it would be if it wasn't led by the Taliban or propped up by outside forces? Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. And he said Al Qaeda because you were looking for the name. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Look, I think one of the things that we're really bad at is often recognizing and accepting the fact that we don't know, like we don't understand a conflict, what it's about, how deep it runs, right? Like where like, and we don't stop to make sure we do know that before we start acting. The Taliban
So that's
thrives
why
in
you don't
that
speak on it.
country based on. That's why who doesn't speak on what?
That's why I say if you don't know how deep it runs, you can't. If you don't have all the details about it, that's what I initially was trying to explain to you. I can say something about what I've come across because I'm going to come across different information than you are, just based on my experiences
Well,
with certain
okay,
people during certain times. You're going to come across different information than I am.
sure.
So
Well, I mean, we
it
do
doesn't
know a
make
lot about them
one
now.
it doesn't make one right and one wrong.
Sure.
What it does is that it gives you a broader view of the actual situation. So for me to broaden that view for you is me telling you that, hey, bro, that was a drug deal. That was taking over natural resources. It wasn't about liberating nobody. This is America. When have we liberated anything?
We didn't. Okay. But to be fair,
You know
we
what I'm
didn't.
saying? Well,
That's
not
not why we
liberated,
said
but like
we were
why
going
we've
there.
gone over somewhere. Like this is never been.
You're saying everything that we've ever done has always been
out of the
for
goodness of our
wrong
American
reason.
heart, nah, bruh. Nah.
Ever, like we've never, like when we like went and fought the Nazis and freed
We
the
got their
Jews,
scientists and ran NASA.
and that's why we went. That's the only reason in your mind.
Yeah, but you know that that's not the only reason. That's one of the reasons that I can mention right off the bat.
Okay. But
Like,
okay.
like
but,
common sense will tell you that. I'm not like, no, the only reason why, no, bro, come on now.
okay.
Of course not. We look
So-
at what can we benefit from something. Why did Hillary do what she did at Benghazi?
Well, couldn't there be?
You know what I'm saying?
Hillary
Like,
didn't
there's
do anything in
TV
Benghazi, by the way. She didn't have anything to do with that. That's
No, I
kind
know,
of
but
freaky.
that's what I'm saying. But what I mean is like we do stuff for whatever reason we want. We're America.
I don't agree with that. Have we ever done horrible shit? Of course we have. We all know that we have. I mean, there's plenty of examples of that. Have we ever done something good? And have we ever like
I'm gonna do something until
like
I'm gonna
so?
tell you I'm doing something, and I'm gonna tell you what my good is. I got a media machine that'll help you look at my good. While my guys is out there tearing that apart. Tearing it apart. I run my media. My media tells you I run my propaganda machine, bro.
Unfocused. I don't know okay, so kind of we're all over the place, which makes this so hard to talk about. But for instance, with Germany, like, so we go in, right? We
How did the war start in Germany? Let's start there. I don't know. Let's take
how
it
did
from
the
the
war
top.
start in Germany?
Yeah,
World War
let's
II?
take
How
it
did
from the
World
top.
War II start? It had nothing to do with us.
Let's not do that.
Victor, no, Victor, come on.
Doesn't have anything to do with what we're
Well, he
talking
mentioned
about.
Germany. So I said one of the things that came to mind is like our fucking space race in NASA. What we
But
did with
that's
their
not-
scientists.
Nobody
That was one of our benefits.
except
Okay, yes, you're absolutely right. But it's like, okay,
that's not why we went. Like, to say
No,
that
I didn't say that's why we
like,
went.
oh, we
That's
go
why I
over
asked you, why
there
did we
and
go?
there's
How
gold
did
on the
it start?
ground and you pick it up, then you say, well, we went for the gold. Well, the gold was on the ground. We don't pick it up when we're
No, I
there.
didn't
Like,
say. Okay.
look at it this way. All right. So there's an apartment and you hear a young lady scream from inside the apartment. All right. You bust down the door. You go in there. There's a poor dead lady on the ground. The person has now actually fled the apartment, and there happens to be $1 million on the sofa. You take
Right.
the $1 million and you leave.
Right.
that's not why you went into the apartment, though.
But
And I
that's
would
not why
say,
you went in the apartment.
You went in because of the screen. Right.
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 And
So
to
you
help.
went in
Right.
with good intentions.
So, and
you went
that's
out
fine.
with bad
That's
intentions.
fine. That's fine.
Well,
So
and
here's
here's
what
the
I'm telling
thing.
you.
You
Here's
can
what we
even
don't
make
do.
that argument without it being a bad intention.
Okay, so here's what we don't do. That's a great example, Victor. Here's what we don't do. We don't randomly knock on apartment doors and be like, hey, I'm your friendly neighbor. Do you need anything? Do you have food? Do you have water?
How does that relate to this, though? Nobody
Because
was
we
doing
don't
anything
just
randomly.
do shit out of the kindness of our heart.
I think that's not
We
true. I
see
think we do.
something,
And it's
When
not
we-
necessarily the kindness of
Nobody's
our heart.
suggesting
I'm not
that,
talking about
though.
every
Nobody
time.
does
I'm
that.
not talking about every time. I'm not talking about every time. I'm talking about for these places where we see these benefits. Come on, bro. These are war games, man. There's strategies. There's think tanks. There's people who sit
That's the
there
one
and
thing
look at
you've
what.
said so far that I would agree on it. There's complicated strategy. It is worldwide theater, right? Every single thing we do that we like to think is some simple little decision that somebody made is not, right?
Right.
You do this and this person's going to do that and then that person's going to do that and that person's going to do that, and you're trying to balance the world order with all these different people all wanting different things, and the decisions are extremely complicated, and the idea that it could even be as simple as heroin is crazy, because
I didn't say just heroin, bro. I said that there
I'm
are
just using
many
that as an
benefits.
example.
That
I'm just
was one
saying,
of them. I say many benefits.
okay, but I'm just saying, I think when we make a decision to do something, there are actually hundreds of things going on in the background where those decisions are being made based on, okay, well, we want to do this. Well, we want to do this, but if we do this, we know that so and so over here is not going to accept that, and and they're going to do this, and then if that happens, so that's not even an option, because if we take that option, all this shit's gonna pop up over here, and that's unacceptable. That can't happen. So let's look at this.
So let's
option.
just leave it the fuck alone.
No, because I haven't stopped talking. The other option wasn't leave it alone, right? So then you look at option B. Okay, if we do option B, this is going to happen and this is going to. So we need to come up with an option C where we can do some good here or accomplish this or accomplish that and not piss off A and not piss off B. And there's all this shit. And my only point here is that none of us know about like 60% of the shit that they have to worry about when they're making those decisions, but they all factor into it. And so when they're making these decisions, they're not simple decisions where it was like, what was the best possible thing we could have done? Why didn't we do that? Because for reasons you don't even know about, that could have started a war in some other country. It could have done, I mean, like there's all these things, like it's a whole fucking planet of people all with different wants and different needs and trying to accomplish different shit. And you have to worry about all of it and what the effects on all of it's going to be with every decision that you make. That's why they're complicated.
Well, you see, and I think that what you're saying is that they actually thought about that. I don't think they thought about that at all.
Maybe not.
I think they went in and like, hey, this is exactly what you said. Hey, they got us. We're going to get their ass. And we went in there.
In this particular case, I agree with you, which is
right.
Right.
And then try to dig our ways out.
Right, exactly. They didn't do what we're supposed to do, which is play out all the scenarios and figure out how each person was going to react to the different shit that they were supposed to do. It just went and did exactly what they wanted to do because they had bloodlust and revenge and were pissed the fuck off. And then, you know, stepped on a goddamn landmine and put us in a 20-year shit fuck because of it. And now we're finally pulling out of it. And on top of everything else,
can I ask you a question? What was the
even a whole
bloodlust and
country of people to
revenge
get fucked afterwards?
that we had?
What?
What was the bloodlust and revenge that we had?
From
9/11.
the towers.
Right.
9/11, the towers.
9/11, which based on a comment you said earlier, I think you think they didn't have anything to do with, but
we said it and they said it.
Who said it?
We said it and they said it.
Who's we said it? I know that guy who did that movie said it, but who else?
Not no guy who did no movie.
Michael Moore said it. That I don't give a shit.
They didn't stake claim to that. Radicals did.
Wait. You didn't see all the fucking videos that Osama bin Laden did taking play? Like he absolutely did. I mean, maybe somebody can make an argument that he took responsibility for it, even though he didn't do it. But he absolutely, on multiple occasions on worldwide TV, took credit for it. Like he absolutely did. I've watched the videos by myself. I mean, again, I know it always gets me in trouble. I recognize that it could have been a faked video, or he could have maybe taken responsibility for something he didn't do. But you know, that fake video shit that we have now didn't really exist back then. So it would have been really hard to have done it. The guy who interviewed him was like a big time, like he did an interview with like I can't remember who it is offhand now, but I mean, it was like a big time news reporter back when people actually took truth in news seriously. I mean, like it would have been a big fake if it wasn't real. I don't know. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, I also think, keeping a secret like that for 20 years now without any like legitimate leak of information is also really hard to pull off in today, in this time period. Like it seems really unlikely that it wasn't them. And not just him too, like, the leader, like the people that we caught and interrogated and like regular Al-Qaeda members that, like who, like preached the overthrow of America and the destruction. I mean, like they've been pretty outspoken and adamant about the fact that they hate us and want to destroy us and have tried to on many occasions. I mean, like, like they've definitely taken credit for it.
Man, bro, if they really wanted to do damage to us, it's not that hard, man.
You're right,
Like,
and
I
they've done
think-
it. I mean, that's not
but
the only time they've done it. They've
but
accomplished it
it,
many times over.
but you gotta realize one thing, man. Like you break it down to a child simple level,
Okay.
right? They say because we're evil and our beliefs and morals and stuff, and you got more white church shooters and school shooters, and they're not terrorists like what you would look at Al Qaeda, but they hate us more than these independent school shooters and mass shooters. Like,
Okay.
so if we can get, if these people can do that, and half the time you always hear it, oh, well, they heard you know, they were looking at them and, you know, they knew this was going on about them. Like, bro, it's not that hard, man. It's really not that hard.
What
If they
isn't
really
though,
wanted
even
to
actually?
do, if they really wanted to do what the media has, you know, programmed into people's heads that they try to do, man.
Who
Like,
tried to do what? I'm not trying to be difficult. I don't know what it is you're trying to say.
I'm only responding to the statement, bro. Like,
But I mean, it's like
one-
you haven't made a like you started to make a point and then not gotten to the point of you
that's
like
my
are you
point.
saying
If they
that
wanted to
what
really
is the
hurt, they could have.
who
The
the white
Taliban,
supremacists, the people
Al-Qaeda.
that act like the
No,
Taliban, or
bro, no. Who
oh,
I just said.
I'm not again.
The people who you talk about, who that is the reason we went into the war.
Oh,
The
okay,
Taliban,
okay.
right? Yeah.
Again,
If they
I'm
want-
really trying to just get the answer. I don't think I'm wrong here in the fact that that wasn't completely clear. I was really just trying to understand what it was you were saying.
I just responded to saying that we're the evil head of the snake, whatever. You know, what the whole news broadcast say that Al Qaeda or
Al-Qaeda.
Alabama, whatever the fuck wherever the
Okay.
name is, yeah, whoever they are.
Okay. Okay.
If they
So
really
if they
wanted
really
to get
wanted
us
to hurt
out,
us,
yeah, they could do that, bro.
they
Just like
have. What do
not,
you?
no, I'm saying they can do it just as easy as we see mass shootings here by American terrorists. Is what my point is.
So you're
It
saying
doesn't. It
that
doesn't. It doesn't. You got to realize these people do. They do fucking chest bombings and car bombings over in their own hood all the time.
okay.
It's like gang banging, bro. You
So-
got gangbangers that shoot up their own hood all day.
Okay.
If
It's
the
much
gang
easier.
culture, hold on. If the gang culture decided to say we're no longer shooting up our hood, we're taking our war to the affluent
Afghanistan?
neighborhoods. No,
Afghanistan?
we're taking our war to the affluent neighborhoods.
But that's a lot easier to
Well,
do
what-
than to take a war to the other side of the planet, which is
bro, but you are dealing with warriors, bro. You're
Uh-huh.
dealing with people who
that have to deal
are
with things
born
like
into-
immigration and things. I mean,
Bro.
that's what I'm saying. To your point,
Nah,
I'm listening to
okay,
what
let
you're
me
saying
let me make it easier
and not getting
for
to
you.
comment on it. Go ahead.
You're what I'm saying is that how deep this shit runs is like you I'm trying to simplify this thing, man.
But you're
like
not.
when you're looking at war, I could give you an example of gang life here. You
But
got Bloods, you got Crips, you got Vice Lords.
right, but
you're
a
talking
person
about war on
going 2 blocks over to an influential neighborhood is a whole lot easier to do, is my point. You're right. If a gang member wanted to just go into an influential neighborhood, that would be easy for them to do. But for
damn
man,
well
I've
that
been
they
letting
have
you
more-
talk, and
you
every
know
time
they
I try
have
to
more
comment on what
reach.
you're
Okay,
saying, you just try to overtalk me.
No, I'm not trying to overtalk you. You keep it like you're acting like you don't understand what I'm saying. You think that these people don't got reach like that?
I'm saying, well, I haven't been able to make the. You've been assuming what I think.
They take over their own. They taking over their own
Been
country,
assuming
bro.
what I think because I haven't been able to say
okay.
it.
So let me ask you this: smart enough to know that they can take over their own country. They're not worried about a city block. They can take over a country. You
Okay,
think
can I
their
make the
reach is
point
not
I'm trying to
wide
make
enough
as to why that?
to drop
No, I
sleeper
can't.
cells in America?
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna mute mine because there's no.
No, you
point.
go ahead and do that, bro. Mute yours, bro. Like I'm like we all know what it is, man.
Okay. The thing that I'm trying to say is it's easier to take over your country when there's a tiny military, right? And your forces outnumber them by massive amounts. Okay. And it's also You said if they had a problem with us, they could do all this stuff. They have done all this stuff. I mean, the 9/11. It's not like 9/11 was this only thing that they did. They blew up the World Trade Center prior to that. They've blown up giant military ships and killed tons of soldiers. They've blown up FBI bill or FBI or CIA building in other countries. I mean, they have come at us lots and lots and lots and lots of times. And your comparison to it's as easy as Crips going from South Central into Hollywood, but it's not, because the Crips who live in South Central, like, they're Americans. They're here in the United States, and getting guns in the United States is easy to do, right? And so loading up on a bunch of guns and driving into a neighborhood in the city that you already live in, where you don't have to get on an airplane or cross a border, or things that are really hard to do when you're on a, I mean, not impossible, mind you, which is why they've been able to pull shit off, but like, you can get caught doing those things, crossing borders and getting on airplanes. You have to have fake papers. You have to have a lot of money to do these things. It's not as simple as buying some guns and driving into another neighborhood, which is why they have attacked us. They've had some successes doing it, but it's not easy for them to do. And because it's not as easy for them to do, by their own admission, when they plan something, they don't want it to be a thing where we're going to spend a bunch of time and money and years and manpower planning a thing where we go somewhere and shoot 20 people. Like, if we're going to put our time and our money and our resources into it, we want it to be something that's going to shake the foundation of what we're trying to destroy, which is why they plot big. This is what they've said themselves. And so I hear what you're saying. Like, if these were terrorists that were like really close to where we were, I could see them just coming at us constantly like they do in other places, but it's not as easy for them to strike here as it is for somebody who lives here already.
So you think they don't have people who already live here, bro?
They definitely have people that already live
Sure, yeah, they do.
All right,
It,
so
it seems like you do that a lot. You focus on one little tiny part of what I say, because if you used it in the grand scheme of what I said, it wouldn't make sense. So I also said that when they're planning things like getting people over here or growing people who are American citizens into believing their shit, that takes time and energy and money. And when they have those resources, they don't like to
they
use
have the
those.
resources. They have those resources.
They do. That's what I just said. Yeah. So when they have those resources, they, by their own words, don't like to use them to go kill 10 people in a mall or 20 people in a mall. They want to use all that time and money and resources that they've developed there into doing something bigger than that. That's I mean,
So let me ask you. So
okay.
that's what they're fixated on. They are a band that focuses on destruction of America.
Yes.
That's right. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's their thing. They hate us. They think we're the devil, and that we're what's the word they use, the
Like
snake.
Yeah, I've heard that too, but there's a
else.
infidel. We're the infidel, and they want to destroy America and everything about it. Anyways, I mean, I think we got off topic. I don't know. It had a lot to do with what we were originally talking about.
That's unlike us altogether, completely.
But I mean, look, I think like the Iraq situation better fits into what you guys are talking about, which is that not only did we not really accomplish much there, but we didn't even really have a good reason to do that. Like, we made that shit up. Like, it was like they had ties to Al Qaeda. They didn't really. They had weapons of mass destruction. They didn't really. I personally think that had more to do with, Bush Jr. wanting to do what Bush Sr. wanted to do and didn't get to finish doing. And I think that's because a lot of the people he had in his cabinet were the same people that were in his dad's cabinet. And I think he thought, well, and to be clear, I think a lot of
That's
times
the media narrative spin, bro. I'm gonna just call it
no,
out.
the
That's
media
narrative
narrative.
spin.
No, that's not true. Okay. All right. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that's not true. My understanding is we were sold on the idea that they were connected to the terrorists and they had weapons of mass destruction. We have now found out since then that that's not true. I don't know why the media would. I mean, I don't know why that's spin. I mean, I think that's true. We know that that's not true. And that's who are they spinning for? Not Bush, because it made him look really bad. So what's the spin?
Anti-Bush.
People that didn't like Bush are getting them to say that, even though they were hooked up with Al Qaeda and did have weapons of mass destruction that we never
I'm sorry.
found.
I thought you were talking about the other thing about Bush having people into from his dad.
Oh, that's a spin.
But yeah, that's what I thought Dot was saying. I don't know. The other thing, you're right. They didn't have mass weapons of mass destruction. They didn't have all sorts of crap. And the whole idea was that we were not actually, we finished our revenge at that point, and we're now interested in stopping the next attack on the United States. And that was what was kind of sold to us, was that the next attack could possibly come from Iraq and from Hussein.
Yeah, it started with they think that there was also a lot of like comments from the White House about how there were ties to Al Qaeda and that they were letting Al Qaeda start and run terrorist training camps within the Iraqi borders and weren't trying to stop them. So they also tried to, and well, with some success for a little while, make them out to be, not Al Qaeda themselves, but like supporters of, backers of, safe haven for the people that attacked us, which didn't turn out really to be that true either. Like, were there people coming in and out of Iraq because it's a big ass fucking country? Sure. Was there maybe a terrorist camp in Iraq because that's just happened to be where they set up? Maybe, but there wasn't like some big cahoots between the fucking Al Qaeda and fucking what's his name? Osama bin Laden, which I'm not at all upset that him and his fucking, like, his kids, they weren't just like bad, they were like what's the evil, like what's the word I'm looking for? They were not narcissistic. They were homicidal. I think isn't even bad enough. Like they were like the devil incarnate. I mean, they were horrible, especially
it's like
Uday.
They were like slave masters.
Yeah. I hate to say it, maybe not as on a grand scale, but the actual shit, I mean, like maybe even worse. Like the Uday would take his sports car and two of his security teams in other vehicles and troll the middle schools for girls that he thought were hot, and then he'd have his security teams kidnap them, take them back to his house where he would rape them and then often kill them and throw their dead bodies in the desert.
Damn. And whose son is this?
Uday.
Saddam Hussein?
No,
that's why I
Saddam
said they were like slave masters.
Yes. I mean, it's not a bad comparison. It's not. Yeah, sure. Yeah. They were really fucking bad guys, and you're right. I mean, slave masters really, really bad guys. Yeah, agreed. They were fucking horrible. They the country, like they just did whatever the fuck they wanted to do. He also had a tradition of when there was an influential, like when there was a wedding, like a high society wedding, he would show up and sleep with the bride before the husband did. And just leave like the husband and the guests and the whole wedding party like outside and take her into the room and rape her in the room while her family and friends and husband were just outside pretending it didn't happen. One of them, they got married at a hotel. He took her up to the hotel room 10 stories up, was on his way down. She jumped off the balcony before he got down from the hotel room, and like on to the reception.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, the dude was like, he had a whole media room set up where he would watch videotapes. He would have like shit of himself as well, but then he'd also have like all the people that his dad had torture, like their prisoners and enemies and shit like that. He'd make them videotape it. So like instead of watching movies at night, he'd like throw on the movies of all these like horrible torture scenes and shit, and that's what he would watch for entertainment. I mean, the dude was like a monster among monsters. I mean, they were I mean, the dad was fucking horrible. These guys were like 10 times worse than their dad. I mean, it was so, I mean, they were monsters, man. Like everybody in Iraq fucking hated him, and you couldn't do anything about it because like he had that shit so tied up that like if they heard a whisper about
Like
you,
slave masters.
sure, yeah, okay, like slave masters. If they heard a whisper, it it didn't matter whether it was true or not, right? Like the dad, it was like he's got to keep his shit on lock, right? He's not going to lose his power, and so if he hears that some dude that's been his best friend since he was 8 years old might be plotting against him, it's not like he's gonna take the time to find out if it's true or not. Like they're gonna take him to Abu Ghraib, or take him to the fucking jails under the soccer stadium and torture him for 8 hours, and then and they do worse than that, right? So like if you tried to flee, well, that didn't work because he'd call you and make you listen to him raping and torturing your family until you came back. You know what I mean? Like, so if you fled, you literally had to flee with anybody or anybody who you weren't okay with listening to torture and die, because otherwise that was what happened. And to make sure you didn't just like kill yourself, like for the people that were still alive, he made it really clear, like he would still rape and torture your wife or your daughter after you were dead, just so that the people that were still alive would know, oh, well, if I kill myself, that shit's still gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like these dudes were horrible motherfuckers, man. Like horrible motherfuckers, like slave owners. And it was just bad. I mean, like nobody could do anything about it. Now, I don't think the war in Iraq made sense, but anytime that shit comes up and I think about the pictures of his dead sons in the street and then pulling him out of that fucking spider hole and throwing his body into the fucking ocean after they killed him, I gotta say it makes me smile every time I think about it, because those were like, I mean, as evil gets. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like I don't like Hitler is who you always compare it to. Hitler killed more people. I don't think he was as creatively violent and horrible as Saddam's family was. Like I honestly don't. Like I think they were more vicious and disgusting than even that nasty piece of shit was. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh dude, those guys were nasty. I mean, like, oh, I don't even understand how. I don't know. It's crazy.
Uday
Me,
ran the Iraqi National Olympic Committee.
yeah, yep. And he was also in charge of their soccer team. And you know why they were so good?
Because they could die if they weren't.
Yeah, and not just die. He would take them. He had a prison built in the soccer stadium to torture the players when they had bad games. Some fucked up shit. Let me look at some of these comments here real quick that we've been kind of missing here. Sorry, Hernan. Yeah, so he said, why do we go into Iraq? Does it matter why we went into Afghanistan now 20 years later? Yeah, I mean, Iraq, I mean, you can get into that. I mean, it's kind of like, oh, I mean, I know it's the same, but I mean, I feel like I know a lot of the facts around both of those things. And I still think, and in one man's opinion, obviously, not everybody agrees with it, but I still think that there was some sense into why we did it. I don't think it was the right way to do it, and I think a lot of people knew that, and a lot of people knew that there was a better way to do it. But they did attack us. They did go to war with us. Like when Hawaii was bombed, right? We went back and attacked them, right? More strategically, I think, even though it was a long time prior and we should have been better at it by then. But I mean, you can say, like, you don't get to attack us and then be upset that we come back after you, right? But we should have done a much better job of that. Iraq, I don't know that we had a legitimate reason to do that. I mean, I really don't. I don't know that anybody can say today, like, oh, it makes total sense why we went and evaded Iraq and turned that into a clusterfuck.
But there is actual oil in Iraq, though, in that case, right?
Sure. And I think that to Dot's theory that sometimes we don't do things for the best reasons, I don't think the oil was the reason that we went in, but I think it certainly encouraged the idea of it, right?
$1 million on the couch.
Right. I don't think anybody wasn't fully aware of the fact that it was there and that we could help keep it under control. Because let's be clear, we didn't go in and steal their oil, right? That's not what happened. But we don't have to steal it for there not to be a selfish agenda involved in it, because leaving it in a place that's in shambles, where there's no government and no room and nobody to be there to make deals with us to buy it from them, is also bad, right? And so,
or somebody that we put there or is thankful to us for being the leader of the country now because we got Saddam Hussein out.
well, I mean, the
Someone
thing is,
indebted to us, I guess.
you can kind of make an argument that we actually had that with the people that hated Saddam the most, right? Because the original reason we went to war with Iraq was for the people right across the border that he liked to fucking gas all the gun. No, is it Saudi Arabia? Maybe no. Is this?
There are friends over there. I know that.
Yeah, but that's, I think, a little bit different region. Actually, it's like the.
Talking about Iran.
No, I don't think it's Iran either. It's like the Quades. I can't think of it.
We got Syria, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Iran, and Turkey. But you're talking a type of people or something? Oh, Kuwait.
Kuwait. That's who it is. Yeah, Kuwait. He used to gas them all the time. That's why we went to war with them in the first place, because we did have we did have great relationships with Kuwait. They sold us tons and tons of or oil, and so we did kind of already have that. But I don't know. I think it's a hard argument to make that we went to Iraq for the oil, because I think, like, it's costing us more to be in Iraq than any money that we're saving on the oil that we get from Iraq. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but there's a lot of oil in Iraq. I mean, that's definitely true. I don't know that there was ever a legitimate reason to go into Iraq. Does it matter why we went into Afghan 20 years ago? No, I mean, it's funny to me often the things that we focus in on, because that was like a one-off statement I was making about how, like, I understand why we went, but the fact that we've been there for 20, like, I was trying to get into the 20-year part of it, like the fact that we stayed there, why we stayed there. The argument I was going to make was, I think a lot of it was that we don't like to pull out in a losing situation. We kind of have this like thing that when you fight us, we win. I think maybe we need to come to grips with just like, we didn't lose, right? Like, you can't beat us. Maybe we need to feel more comfortable with, instead of we have to utterly destroy you, right? Because, like, in situations like that, that's really hard to fucking do. Like, saying, and we were never gonna fucking do it. The thing that I think the big thing that we didn't understand about the Taliban is that it's not just getting rid of like there's an infinite supply of people to replace them, because in an area where there's not a lot of money and food and opportunity, they are the almost sole providers of that, right? And so it is very easy to induct take in induct in what's the word I'm looking for? Indoctrinate indoctrinate young people, right? Who when I was young, people that did good for me, I was, it was easy for me either to ignore or not see the bad shit about people that did nice things for me, even more so when I was young. It's sometimes still hard to do it even as an adult, right? But when you're young and you're learning shit about life, the person the person you're gonna like is the person who's the only one doing nice things for you, regardless of the horrible shit. Anyways, we all know how that shit works. There's an endless supply of those people there. You can't kill those people because like they're kids that are going to then become, you know what I mean? Like it's not an easy thing to fix, right? It takes decades upon decades of like teaching more, teaching better ideals and beliefs and that you shouldn't have to blow yourself up for somebody to, I mean, like that takes time and energy and effort more than we're ever going to spend there, right? And so that shit's never going to fucking happen. It was ridiculous that we stayed there for 20 years. If it's going to happen, that's the thing, was it the pullout horrible? It was. But if you're eventually going to do it no matter what, then I would argue taking a longer amount of time makes it more horrible, right? Like that's going to happen. How much more shit are you going to add to the fucking total of horribleness waiting to do the inevitable? You know what I mean? Anyways, all right, next comment. Their income comes from agriculture, mainly cotton and foreign aid. That's when I was saying there's not oil in Afghanistan. Look at where it is on the map. It's surrounded by countries. We and Russia try to destabilize and control. Look at the neighbors. Yeah, I mean, that's another good point. If it's the point I think he was trying to make, is like Russia is giant as they were. Like we're talking about Cold War heydays of Russia, like when they were big and powerful and at the fucking border of Afghanistan, right? So not only were they big, but had easy access to those motherfuckers and have never successfully been able to do anything about them. And they've tried like 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean? Like anybody who gets bogged down in a war in Afghanistan loses or gives up. You know what I mean? Like
Russia had done it before, and
yeah,
not New England, Old England.
India probably likes Pakistan having a crazy border to deal with. We weren't talking about that. I think that it's just a comment.
He's saying that it's similar to that situation.
Which situation? Russia?
No, the one that we're talking about is
Kuwait?
similar. Yeah, not Kuwait. Afghanistan.
Yeah, and there's nothing there but a great location to be an irritant. Exactly. I mean, that's the other thing too, is it's like nothing but love for the Afghani people that are stuck there, dealing with all these people fighting amongst them. But it's like, this country of like fucking mountains that like all these empires go to war over with no results. You know what I mean? Like it is a little crazy. Let me see here. We go because we can be in the middle of the area. Bases in Pakistan, so that's a good argument. Like one of the selfish reasons why we do it, other than the reasons that we're saying. Oh wait, Benghazi. Are you talking about Benghazi?
That was when Hillary Clinton and Benghazi.
Oh, he's just saying, he's laughing. Okay, that's where the story. Okay, I get it now. Never mind. Okay. Um, so he was saying one of the reasons that we go to these places is that, if we can establish ourselves there, it gives us the ability to have American bases in those areas, and accomplish world domination. No, but like give us footholds in places that we don't have them, which makes it easier for us to do the other shit that we want to do. That's legitimate. I think that's there's a legitimate argument for that. Same level of crazies tried to take over the Capitol on January 6th. We have extremists here. Yeah, no, and look, that's absolutely true. And Dot, to your argument that, I don't know if that was the argument you were trying to make, but not, there are people. I think there are obviously bigger threats than Al Qaeda to the United States. A lot of whom are homegrown people here that, to the point I was trying to make before, are bigger threats because it would be much easier for them to, make life hard for us than people on the other side of the planet, which is why I think, it's like the whole idea of us going into Afghanistan, it's like we really weren't targeting Al Qaeda and Bin Laden very seriously prior to that.
He was on our top 10 most wanted list.
Yep, he was, and we were looking for him. And in fact, we probably would have gotten him, except that we pulled a bunch of troops out of Afghanistan to start the war in Iraq, and we had him surrounded at the time, and he got away because of that, which is just unbelievably annoying to think about. But I'm just saying we weren't going after them with anywhere near the zeal that we were going with him after 9/11, which makes sense, right? I mean, he had done something unlike anything before that, so it made sense that we, were like, okay, we got to take this more seriously. My point is simply, would it have made more sense to see what we could have accomplished the way we were doing it, but with just a lot more time, money, energy, money, like we were making some headway on it, despite the fact that we weren't really doing a great job trying. You know what I mean? If we had put all that time, money, energy, and effort into using our asset, our intelligence assets and our technology and so forth, like I think we would have spent less money, had less soldiers die, had less innocent people in Afghanistan die, and probably had better results from it. No? Sometimes you got to destroy stuff. It's like in surgery, like sometimes you like come in swinging, and sometimes you use a really precise instrument. It depends on what it is you're going after. The thing about terrorism that makes it so tough is that it's not a government that you can topple and destroy and not have to worry about anymore, which we should have known already, but we certainly know now. I mean, destroying Iraq didn't make things safer. Like, it brought chaos to an already pretty crazy part of the world.
But I will mention that we not just us, but like the coalition did form a democratic government in Iraq, which is still up today. It's a little shaky and it still has its problems, but it's the Middle East,
Yeah, but I mean, look again.
It lasted more than 4 days, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. They have resources, though. You know what I mean? Like it's like going into like Lubbock, Texas, and being surprised that you can't get that there's not enough people and resources in Lubbock to train a military that's gonna, what I mean? Like, of course there isn't. It's Lubbock, Texas. You know what I mean? Like, there are places where you could have a legitimate chance at doing that. Afghanistan doesn't seem like one of them to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. And with Iraq, like, I don't, nobody liked him. Even in Iraq, nobody liked him. Like, the people that worked for him did not like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were afraid of him. They were terrified of him. That was it. Like, in the very beginning, they might have liked him, right? And then after 30 years of utter terror and violence and like having to constantly worry that not that you did something wrong, but that somebody said you did something wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking insanity. If we had just orchestrated a coup against that guy, you know what I mean? Let's take this guy out of power and put somebody who's not a fucking maniac in power. It seems like that had to have had some potential, no? I don't know. Obviously, I'm sure somebody else thought of that, and for some reason they didn't think it would work. But it seems like
coups before, but we always get our ass hung out on coups.
it's true. But a lot of the times, the people that we try coups on do actually have support, and I think this guy was uniquely somebody that like he was the kind of person a mother wouldn't love. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just a piece of shit. Anyways, that's all of the comments. Haha, I got through them.
Really? I think there's more comments.
The same level of crazies tried. No, that's all of them.
Did you press refresh?
Oh, no, let's see. I mean, they'd been popping up on their own. Let me see. Oh, it's gonna leave me. Okay, hold on.
Or maybe scroll down or something?
I did. I was all the way at the bottom. What's the last one you see?
By anti-vax, something about anti-vaxxers.
Really?
And then there was also, let's see, something about a chainsaw originally, which I thought was pretty cool.
Their income comes from agriculture. The last one I see. Oh, wait, no. It's like a whole different view of it now.
We plan on getting people there. We infiltrate the mess that we mess with them.
Here we go.
F in Russia likes to poison people. That's true.
We plan on getting people there also. We infiltrate and mess with them. We were also torturing not too long ago. Crossing my fingers, we stopped that. I think we're talking about, reasons to go. Yeah, I mean, so that kind of stuff makes more sense to me. I am sympathetic to the idea that sometimes we do shit and it doesn't make sense, or like it's like so crazy you couldn't possibly believe it until you know it's true. I know that shit does happen, but it doesn't. I also know that more often than not, that the simplest answer is the truth. So that kind of stuff, like wanting to kill them there, wanting to set up footholds in different places, wanting to be able to torture, right? And that's something that we have to do abroad because it's illegal here, which is just like a really fucking dickish way to get away with something that we obviously know you shouldn't be doing.
The whole thing about what was it, Abu Ghraib or whatever? Right. It was not on American soil.
Right. Although that still, that wasn't as much about it not being on American soil as it was that, the Bush administration, hired lots of attorneys to go in and look at all of these laws that we set up and figure out ways to do what they wanted to do without getting in trouble for it, essentially, right? So like redefining the difference between torture and interrogation techniques and like, all this stupid bullshit that's just ridiculous. I mean, how about that? Is that something? Hold on. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna try to just get through these really quickly. But when we're done, if anybody's up to it, I'd love to talk about like this ridiculous idea that we need to torture people. Russia likes to poison people. Old
That's a rough
school.
statement.
Saudi Arabia has Washington Post reporters. I don't know
Chainsaw.
what, huh?
Chainsawed.
What does that mean? Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Yeah. Saudi Arabia is a really fucked up country that we do business with for oil, for sure. And yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, again, like my comments earlier, I'm not suggesting we don't do anything wrong. We do. We know we do. There's just, we have historical facts that prove that we've made really bad choices in some cases, and I don't think that we don't ever do anything for like greed or because it's what's best for us. I just don't think those are the only reason we do things, and I think it's not normally the reason why we do things. Like with the whole thing about German scientists. I mean, like those people, in fact, most of those guys, we didn't pick up by winning the war. Like we snuck them out. Like those people, what do you call that when they,
Asylum.
no, like when they leave, like when they're, I need to
I know
get
what it's
somebody
called.
on the show that
Thing.
that's good at like picking out the words that I'm trying to say, because I used to, like, this really pisses me off when I was younger. Like
Defect.
obviously I like to talk, huh?
Defect. They defect.
Yeah, defected. A lot of those guys defected. We picked up some of them after the war, but like let's just use that example. It's like we topple a dictator, we save a bunch of people, and then there's these like scientists that are researching shit that could not just help us, right, but because it wasn't just rockets for the race to space, they were also working on nuclear weapons, right? And so it's like it's not just about, I mean, there's a legitimate argument to be like, holy shit, like we need to make sure somebody else doesn't end up with these guys that are creating something that can destroy like a city. You know what I mean? Like I think that is just like what you of course are gonna do in that situation. You know what I mean? Like that just makes sense. Yeah, that killed him with a chainsaw. You're talking about that reporter that was like doing, right, wasn't he a reporter, and he was doing stories against the Saudi families, and he like went into a building and he never came out, right? And then like they finally investigated it and they like chopped him up with a chainsaw, brought him out in bags and shit. Yeah, well, yeah. He says Saddam Hussein's sons were the terrible ones. Yeah, I hadn't read this, but yes, obviously I went off on that as well. Yeah, they definitely were. Yeah. Oh, I think maybe you thought I was talking. Did I maybe say I was talking about Saddam Hussein's kids the whole time? Did I say the wrong name?
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Okay. I did. Yeah, that's who I was talking about. I wasn't talking about Osama bin Laden's kid. I meant Saddam Hussein. If I somehow said Osama bin Laden by accident, I was definitely talking about Saddam Hussein's kids. Yeah, so after we took over in Iraq, the first oil deal actually went to China. $3 billion deal to develop oil fields. Oops. Right now, anti-vaxxers are the biggest threat. Threats change, I guess. Yeah, brother. He hasn't commented a lot. Like, has he been listening to the show a lot, or is this like?
That's what I think he was saying was that he did listen. I know he did listen a couple of times, but I guess he just didn't know that it was still coming on or what times it
Okay.
came on or.
Well, you're singing my song, man. If you've missed the last few shows, like we've done shows simply on vaccines, and it seems like no matter what we talk about, we at least 30 or 40 minutes ends up coming back to vaccines on every show. I 100% agree with you. I think the anti-vaccine movement makes no sense to me. It drives me crazy. Again, it's just like forget math and science and all that stuff, like, which I don't, but like we've been doing this for so long and it's worked every single time. I mean, like it would be one thing if the idea of vaccines was some new thing that people didn't understand or hadn't had to deal with before, but like we've been successfully vaccinating people for like hundreds of fucking years, and it works, and we know it works every time it's worked. Like every time we've had this problem, we've come up with a vaccine, we fixed the problem, and now for some reason we're acting like we're like, hey, if you want to get better, suck an alien's dick or something. Like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're saying do the same shit we've been doing this whole fucking time, and we can stop having to deal with this shit. You know what?
I saw the very first one that I ever seen, because they have these things like almost every time, every day on the news. They put this poor guy that has made the stupid decision not to get vaccinated and ends up in the hospital, and he's like on a breathing machine, had to have a transplant or something, and they say, hey, do you wish you would have gotten the vaccine? And then, of course, the guy says yes. This today was the first one, was this old lady where she was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think. And then, are you gonna get the vaccine when you? No, still not. I don't think so.
Yeah.
They say it changes your DNA, and I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
But you're in a hospital with a respirator.
Right.
You just barely got saved. You almost died. And she's like, no, not gonna do it.
Right. I know. It's crazy. I mean, it just seems like we're throwing logic out the window now. I had my second vaccine yesterday. I've been bad all day. First vaccine that kicks my butt. All expected. Yeah. So he was saying he just got his second had my second, right? So you got, I think you've had your second of the 2 shots, I think is what you're saying. Second.
Shingles.
Oh, shingles vaccine yesterday. Yeah, I mean, and he said, first vaccine that kicks my butt, all expected though. Right. I mean, look, the thing is most vaccines or vaccines, really, not most vaccines are, us exposing ourselves to a small amount of it in a controlled way so that our body builds up immunities to them so that we don't get sick, right? And so, yeah, you're right. Sometimes you do feel shitty. I mean, with the COVID vaccine, a lot of people felt really shitty after the second one. I somehow got the opposite of that. The first one fucked me up, and then the second one wasn't that bad. Trump got booed yesterday at a rally when he told the followers to get the vaccine. Really? Wow. That's just like all kinds of people booed Trump. Trump told people to get a vaccine. I mean, what the fuck is this? Like, was it backwards day or some shit yesterday? Yeah, man. It just all doesn't make sense to me. Like, and I've heard, we've had comments on the show of like, like it's up to me, like you're trying to control me. You're trying, you shouldn't get to decide shit for me. But here's the thing, like, you're deciding shit for me by not getting vaccinated. Why is nobody talking about that part of it? Like you're deciding for me that this is going to go on longer than it needs to. You're deciding for me that stronger variants that almost certainly wouldn't have happened are going to now happen, right? If we had done this the right way, now they're talking about boosters and us having to go back and get additional shots, right? Like I wouldn't have had to done that if y'all had gone and got your fucking vaccines. My kids are more likely to get sick now, twice as likely as they were before. And we don't know if that's not going to get worse, right? I got to worry about that shit because you chose not to get vaccinated, right? I got to worry about my fucking economy going off a goddamn cliff because you don't want to fucking get vaccinated. So, you know what? I don't get to tell you what to do. I shouldn't get to decide shit for you. You're deciding all kinds of shit for me. I want you to go wait in line for 30 fucking minutes twice and get a goddamn shot. You want me to go through all of this shit so you don't have to do that. So I don't know that there's a legitimate argument for, why do you get to tell me, why do you get to have such an impact on my life and make these decisions for you? You're making all kinds of decisions for me, right? Why don't I get to have any decision, and mathematically and scientifically, the decisions that I'm suggesting are good, not just for me, but for you. All the decisions you're making suck for me. There's nothing good out of the decisions you're making for me. It's all fucking bad. So there, like, get over it. Go get the goddamn shot. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not asking you to take a chance larger. You're going to take today, you're going to do 100 things that have more risk associated with going and getting this fucking vaccine, right? And you can't do this one thing because it's what's best for your fellow man, your country members, your children, your economy. I mean, I could keep fucking going. You know what I mean? Like, is it perfect? No. Is there some chance in it? Yes, just like there is with everything in life. Now, grow some fucking balls and do it anyways. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, dudes, do the right thing. Like, I'm sorry. There's like more. I just can't believe it's going on this long. I can't believe that like ridiculous theories and craziness is making people not want to do this. I will say one of the comments that I didn't get to read about the vaccinations that was like from 2 weeks ago was, so Adam, do you think that people with heart disease and should have to go get vaccinated because you think everybody should get vaccinated? Bullet, don't just get mad at me. Actually listen to what I'm saying, because a big part of the reason why I want people to get vaccinated is because those people can't, right? That's what I've been trying, like on top of all the other stuff, I've been pointing out over and over again that there's large groups of the people who can't get vaccinated. And the reason why they can go on living their life like everybody else can is if the rest of us who can do, right? A big reason why I want people to get vaccinated, in fact, probably the biggest reason, seeing is that I have a child who's too young and has pre-existing conditions, is that I know there's people who can't get vaccinated. I want everybody else to get vaccinated so that those people could go back to living their normal lives just like everybody else, right? Like, yes, I get that there's people who can't get vaccinated. No, I'm not saying that if you actually have a legitimate risk factor from taking the vaccine and not like everybody else in a 0.0019% chance that we know isn't actually that high, because that's not even people who've died from the vaccine, but just people who've gotten the vaccine who've died. Like, yes, I mean, to not be a dick about answering the question, no, I'm not suggesting people who are high risk take it. I'm saying all of this that we know are that have almost no risk should do it so that they can, be safe. So, anyways. See, it always comes back to vaccines. I watch, you guys know I watch Bill Maher every week. I love the guy, but he pissed me off this week because, he's talked about, and I don't have a problem with this, that like if we were healthier, this wouldn't have been as big of an issue. And I don't think he's wrong about that. But he was complaining about the possibilities of having to go get a booster because he's really healthy and he doesn't think he's at a really high risk. So shouldn't he not have to go get the booster? And it's like, it's not just about you. Like, even if that is true, even if you might not suffer, like, you get the vaccine because people need to get vaccinated, right? Like, because we know when everybody who can go and get the vaccine, when a high percentage of the people who can get vaccinated, we stub out the fucking disease, right? And then instead of it being so many people that we can't go to a fucking doctor because they're all busy treating people who have COVID, and all the other shit that we're dealing with because so many people are getting it. When people get vaccinated and it's like, like the measles, and it's like 0.01% of people get the fucking measles, like we can deal with that when that shit happens. You know what I mean? Like we can deal with that. It's not world ending. It's not economy ending. It's not we have to all lock ourselves in our fucking house, which by the way, we can't actually do because the world would plummet into fucking chaos if we actually did that for a long period of time, right? So it's people who have money and jobs that can work from home barricade themselves in their houses, and people who aren't as lucky as us go out and get sick. That's what I mean, like doing jobs that nobody wants to do already. And now they're doing it despite the fact that they're going to catch COVID while they're doing it. I mean, God, I'm so tired of this shit. Then the mask thing, we live in Texas. I mean, Jesus Christ, like just put your fucking mask on and shut up already. I mean, I was watching an interview with this guy who's not even anti-mask, anti forcing his kid to wear a mask. That's American, god damn it. I don't want my son to wear a fucking mask, he ain't gonna wear a mask, that guy. And then he says, I mean, I'll be honest with you, he kind of likes wearing the mask. He thinks he's a ninja. But I tell him, don't tell anybody that because we're anti-mask. And so, I mean, the kid wants to wear the fucking. It's not, I mean, nobody legitimately thinks wearing the mask is a health concern, right? Like the argument is just you shouldn't have to, right? Am I wrong about that? Is there people? Right. It's not that people are like, we're going to get sick wearing masks, right? Like it's that you shouldn't have to do it. Here's a guy whose kid wants to wear the mask, but he's, that's not going to keep him out of the game, right? He's still going to go and complain about how unfair it is that his kid has to wear a mask that he wants to wear because that's where we are in society. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, get a life, man. Go find something. This is something you don't have to worry about. Like, go find something else that matters to care about instead of whether your son has to wear a mask that he enjoys fucking wearing. I think I'm going to have to. All right. Hernan's bugging out. Thanks for watching, brother. Come back. We appreciate you commenting, and we are going to work out the show. You coming on. I can't remember what it was, but I liked it. Or if you come up with something else you like more, let us know. We'll figure it out. We'll do what you want to do. Thanks for watching. Keep it real. Hate, don't debate. All right. Dot, you with us at all?
Yes, sir.
All right. Cool.
Which
What else do we
subject
got?
I got a very important one.
All right.
The host of Jeopardy. Did you hear he got kicked off?
Really? They
Yeah.
fired him or what?
Well, he resigned as the host of Jeopardy after pushback from everybody else. And of course, now they're going after Blossom next.
Why?
Okay, so the first guy, he made some anti-Jew remarks and some anti-something else remarks too on a podcast. Ha ha ha. That he made like in 2012 or 2013. Somebody pulled up some comments that he made on it, and it was unflattering, I guess. And it came on a cause, and also they kind of thought it was BS that we had all these like guest hosts, and they were like trying to figure out who's going to be the new one, and then the producer of the show gets to be the new Jeopardy host. So they kind of felt like that they were cheated.
Who was cheated?
People.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jew thing, I mean, 12 years ago or whatever. I mean that's a little silly at this point, but like were they going to hire these people that feel like they got cheated instead of him? No, shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't get cheated.
Well, they wanted Aaron Rodgers, so they felt like they got cheated out of Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I didn't even know Aaron Rodgers is up for the job, but that's pretty cool.
And he so wanted the job. He even said like that he would figure it out around football.
Really?
That he would be able to film during the off season, and it would be just fine and everything. He really, really wanted the job, and he guest hosted for like a week or something. And then of course, Blossom is. So the idea was that that producer guy, what is his name, was supposed to be the host on a regular basis, and then whenever they did Richards, I guess something Richards, whenever they did like specials or anything, Mayim Bialik was gonna do it. Blossom. And now they're upset with her because she's been labeled an anti-vaxxer. So back to vaccines.
I might hate. I might have to hate her too now. No, I'm just kidding.
So she did it was in a book that she wrote about 12 years ago.
Oh, so not even like this shit. Like this was like back probably when they thought kids were getting Down syndrome from fucking vaccines and shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she said that her kids were not vaccinated, and she was not vaccinating the kids at that age. I'm not exactly sure her exact comment, but then she came back like after backlash or whatever, 2 to 3 years later.
I realized she made a mistake.
She did get her kids vaccinated. She just waited for them to be older.
Yeah.
That she didn't want them to get that at such a young age because she was worried about allergies or something. Allergies to
which is all kind of bullshit, but that's reasonable.
Yeah. So they were vaccinated. And then she got backlash again because she was labeled a non-vaxxer when this vaccine came out. So she went on another live television show or whatever and said no, that she was planning to get vaccinated, and she was planning to get her kids vaccinated who were over 12 whenever it becomes available to that age group. So she's not, but she has been labeled an anti-vaxxer like repeatedly. So they want to pull her from the show.
See, who like just when you say they want to pull her, like the fans or like
this is the fans I don't know if you call them fans, but people.
Yeah, right. Okay, because that's the biggest problem I have with the cancel culture, right? It seems like there's, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, okay, but there's been a lot of talk about like it gets out of control and shit, and it seems like a form of control that would probably work is like the producers and like the CEOs and like the people who actually get, because fans don't get to kick you off a show. You know what I'm saying? Like fans don't get to fire you, right? Like they get to protest, and then the people in charge decide whether to respond to it or not. And it seems like the easy solution to this problem would be like when somebody's legitimately done something wrong, fire them, right? And when it's nonsense like this, you stand up and say, look, maybe we're going to lose some fucking viewers, but you guys are fucking being stupid, and I'm not going to fire a decent person who's doing a good job because y'all are fucking morons. You know what I mean? Like, obviously you don't say that, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, stand up for people who deserve to be stood up for. And yeah, it's going to cost you sometimes. Doing the right thing often does, Like if we did it more often, it would probably work. This one's silly. The other guy is kind of silly. I mean, how horrible was the shit that he said? I mean, I'd have to, know it a little bit more, but I mean, 10 years ago, I mean, Jesus fucking, this is, I'm almost drawing a line in the sand that like, I don't even give a fuck what it was if it was 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, let's get over the, like, what you did.
It really has to be like outrageous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You have to have appeared in blackface or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you owned a fucking plantation 10 years ago, then yeah, let's hang them. Okay, I'm down with that, right? But like, if you just said some, stupid shit, Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like,
There are actually plenty of pictures with me wearing a rebel flag
yeah,
shirt and like bandana and everything. I went to Robert E. Lee High School,
yeah,
so you know I shouldn't be canceled because of that. You know,
yeah. What about blackface is the big one. I mean, it's in bad taste. It absolutely is. I get why people hate it, and I get why people are offended by it to as much as I can, right? Not being the person that it offends, right? Although it does offend me, not offending me in the same way it would offend other people, right? I think it is offensive, but at the same time, like, am I wrong in the argument that, like, I don't know, maybe I am. It just like,
what I want to know is how did okay, so it's terrible and it's been terrible for a long time. How did Robert Downey Jr. like almost win an award for it?
yeah, was that,
Why does nobody talk about that?
is he the one that did the movie where he like went to college as a
Uh-huh.
black kid? That was Robert Downey Jr.
Wait, what? The one in the jungle where he was blackface.
Oh, well, I was thinking of that movie from like the 80s. Remember where the kid,
That's a
like,
different one.
that one's
Yeah,
bad. That one is
yeah, that was
worse to
bad.
me because Robert Downey Jr., it was like, it was supposed to be stupid. You know what I mean? Like, like, it was a joke. I think that's why he got away with it. Like, it was
But so is a lot of this crap that people are doing. I mean, they do it as a joke and they do it to be funny, and it's just
it not,
in
it's,
bad humor.
I say this a lot. There's like nuance. Like, the joke was that it's offensive. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's why it was okay. Like, it was, whereas I don't know a lot of examples of like kids who did it in college and shit where it was like, let me make a joke about how offensive this is. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the difference.
Well, no,
Um,
the ones that I get are the stupid people, and it's stupid. Don't get me wrong, it's stupid. But that they show up to like Halloween parties, like as Black Fat Albert or something, or and they're actually
right,
in there, you know.
right. I think I don't know. A lot of people aren't agree with me on this one, but like, uh, that, like, what's the imitation is the most sincere form of flattery or some shit like that. Like, I think there's a difference between like, I like this character, I wanted to dress up like this character, I didn't realize that also putting the makeup on was like something I wasn't supposed to do, like, I think there's some legitimacy to that argument.
Yeah, I think what's her name? One of the sisters that everyone follows. I think one of them went like blackface at one point.
Sisters, oh, Kardashians.
I believe,
Yeah,
not sure, but I think so.
and again, we've had this conversation where like, I think intent is a big deal, and I don't think it makes it right. Like, like, you can say no, you still shouldn't have done that, right? But intent can maybe change the conversation of like, that was stupid, you shouldn't have done that, you need to apologize for it, and tell everybody how why you did it, and so forth, as opposed to like, there wasn't there what then there used to be a college where they would like,
Oh yeah.
like, every year they would do a party where they would like dress up like black people, and it was like really disgust, like, it was like, and not, they put the black face on and they dress like pimps, and like, all these like, it wasn't like they were, it was, it's like that. You can't be like, oh, I really like pimps, and there, what I mean, like, there's just no argument for why that was a legitimate reason to do that, what I mean, like, that was just hateful and stupid, and those are two different things, you know what I mean? But I also think that, like, if you did that 20 years ago, you could be like, yeah, I was a dumb, rich, spoiled little asshole back then. And it was extremely offensive and douchey for me to do that. And I really wish I never had, but I've 20 years older now. And, I'm not that same fucking douchey asshole that like, not that some people aren't still douchey assholes 20 years later, but some people aren't, you know what I mean? Like some people like, you know, have an awakening for one reason or another and go, oh my God, I've been being an asshole and a racist douche, you know what I mean? And I need to stop doing that. And they do, you know what I mean? And then like, that's a great thing. Like that's what we all need to try to strive to do. Let's not hate on people that like bettered themselves and became good people and realize and learn from their mistakes, you know?
Yeah, one of the comedians that I love, and not too many people really like. Well, I mean, some people like him. Is that damn it? I'm bad with names today. The Canadian guy who sells bud now. He sells like things to smoke out of and everything. Oh, all right, I'll get his name. But anyways, he
He's an
came out and said,
actor, a comedian. What is he?
yeah, he's an actor. He's an
Okay.
actor, and he came out and said, you know, that's okay. It's okay to apologize for stuff that you did a long time ago and just say, hey,
Yeah.
I didn't know better at
Right.
that time. I didn't mean to insult anybody, but
Right.
I was just being funny, and that's okay to say that.
Yeah. Own up to it, right? Take responsibility, apologize, tell everybody who's, you know, like, here's an example of something you shouldn't do, you know, like I think that it takes a lot of balls to do that, even, you know what I mean? Like, be an example by being willing to show people mistakes you made. Like, I think that's a good thing.
That's a good example. Absolutely.
All right, so Jeopardy. Here's the other thing. Like, was there any scenario like it was Alex Trebek who was fucking amazing on that show? Everybody fucking loved that guy. He did it for 800 fucking years. Who were they? Like, if they had picked Oprah, people would have been like, "Oh, that's not right." You know what I mean? And everybody fucking loves Oprah. You know what I mean? Like, she's Oprah for crying out loud. How can you not like that woman?
It was
I was watching.
Seth Rogen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Seth Rogen is definitely everything you said. I think of him more like a producer than an act, because he makes the movies, you know. But you're right. I actually thought him for a second, and I was like, no, he wouldn't have said actor. I love Seth Rogen. He's so fucking great. He's one of those people. I think he's funny and he seems like a nice guy, but his laugh makes me laugh. I love people who laugh a lot, who like Ricky Gervais, like
Well, Fallon's one of the greatest
yeah.
ones.
Yeah, Fallon laughs at himself a lot, which is fun. I also, when somebody's actually funny, I like it when they laugh at themselves, like, and break it, and they're like, "Oh, I'm just so funny, I can't help it." It's kind of annoying when the person's not actually funny, though. Then you're like, "What are you laughing at?" That was, you know, like. But Fallon's laugh is all right. Like, it's just funny because he does it a lot. Like, it's not necessarily his actual laugh, but like Ricky Gervais, listen to Ricky Gervais laugh. If that doesn't make you laugh, there's something wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like, stop watching comedy because you're not gonna. Yeah, yeah. I love his laugh. He's fucking hilarious, and Seth Rogen's laugh is great. Yeah. Anyways, you ain't
So
gonna.
the next the big ones on the line for Jeopardy is the Reading Rainbow guy.
Oh, I like him. I'm watching him right now in
LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton. I started watching Next Generation again.
I've been wanting to do that. I've wanted to do that, but man, it's such a beast. Because what I actually do like is they did this Lower Decks. It's like a cartoon.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I know what you're talking about.
Which is hilarious because it's the same thing like the Death Star. You know, everyone is really happy the Death Star got blown up, but there's like, you know, there's probably a couple million just day workers that were on the Death Star that were just chilling and you know, cleaning up poop and making sure the restrooms run well that completely got destroyed.
Right, so what does that have to do with Star Trek?
Well, anyways, the Lower Decks is for Star Trek, and they, on almost each one of their episodes, they actually do kind of like a callback to episodes either on the Next Generation or on the original series. And only if you've either seen those or looked them up or know that what they're doing is you wouldn't even realize it. And
So the callbacks are like that they were actually shitheads instead of good people or something. I don't know what did that have to do with the Death Star thing?
oh no, the whole idea is that it's about the normal people that work on Star Trek. It's not about the guys in charge or the people on the actual.
Oh, the whole idea of the show is it's not like the head guys. It's like just the random people that would be in the background or something. I
Exactly. It's
kind of
about
like that. That's cool. That's cool. Because I was gonna say, I mean, obviously, I'm
I
sure.
thought you knew what it was, and I guess I should have done it for
Uh-uh.
the audience anyways. But yeah, it's about the normal people. It's about the people
That's
that
cool.
aren't in command. It's about the guys that keep the ship running on a daily
Yeah,
basis, and
cool.
not the people that just say, okay, engage.
Yeah.
People that
Because
have to engage.
I was about to get defensive, man. I was like, I'm sure you could find some shit, but like, they tried really hard in that show, like, to not just be like, oh, these people are obviously the bad guys and these people are obviously the good guys. Like, they were like, real diplomatic about everything. And like, you know, like I just watched an episode where they're like chasing this fucking creature in space that like eliminates all form of life everywhere it goes. But they're like, well, maybe that, like sperm whales open up their mouth and eat all these fucking things. They don't think about it when they're doing it. They're just eating, like he might not be evil. He might just be looking for food, right? I mean, they always kind of did that. Although if you've Plankton, right? If you've watched the new one, Picard, where I think they did a little bit of it, but I think they dropped the ball big time on that idea was the Borg, who are kind of just looked at. I mean, there's the one with the guy Hugh, right? That they capture and they get to know him, and they like him, and they're impressed with his humanity, but it doesn't change how they feel about all the other fucking Borg, which you would think they'd be like, wait a minute, he's probably not much different than all the rest of these motherfuckers, right?
Right. The episode, spoiler alert, they like
Yeah,
straight up kill like almost all the board in like one flash moment. Now it's not the Enterprise people or anything that
yeah,
do it. It's actually the Romulans
yeah,
that do it. But
yeah. Well, yeah, which isn't surprising because they're kind of shitheads, right?
sure, but still, they just kill off. So a whole population gets killed
Yeah,
off on the show really
right.
quickly
Well, it's
without
not
much.
the whole population. They don't ever outright say it. But I think if you watch the one that 7 and 9 is on, there's a lot more shit about the Borg on that one.
Sure.
It's not one cube. Like the idea isn't that there's only one cube.
Right. No. This, and that's what they mentioned in that Picard is that it is only one cube,
Yeah,
and the other ones are
it's disconnected from the collective. Yeah, they do say
cut
some
off.
shit about it. Yeah,
It's just cut off from the
right,
rest of
right, right, right.
them. The idea is that for people that were now going to be like regular people or become regular people, and then they just in like a big flash kill off all these people, and there's not
Yeah.
really that much. Nobody like cries for them
Well, she does.
except for 7 of 9.
Yeah, she's really upset about it, and Hugh would have been if he wasn't already dead. And the ninja guy's trying to protect them all. Remember? I don't know. I think there was some real attempt that was I was going to kind of make the opposite argument. Whereas in this new show, they do a lot to kind of like make you think of the fact that like not everybody watches Star Trek. The Borg are these half robot, half humans that like show up to planets and they turn everybody into Borg, right? Like they capture them, and so and that's what they do.
They don't. It's like computers. They can't really. Well, they can't really reproduce on their own.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I guess that's true too.
they
Yeah, but
conquer.
and they're a conquering race, bro. Right? So they go and they conquer a world, and then they don't kill the people; they turn them all into Borg, and it should, if you think about it for half a second, you realize that means they were all just somebody whose planet got taken over, who at no point wanted to be a fucking Borg and then became one, right? Like the ones that are taking over a planet are just as innocent as the people that are being taken over at the you know what I mean? Like they were just chilling on their planet one day too when the Borg showed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all that. You know what I mean? And you never like and until this series, nobody stopped to say like and you know they are all victims,
They're
right?
all
Like they're all
yeah, they're all
victims.
victims.
None of them wanted it. This is what happened to them.
And maybe it's Picard. Well, the other one made me want to see the original series, but I think Picard made me want to watch Next Generation again because
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff in that show that you don't really catch unless you watch Next Generation.
Right.
Because like the main Borg lady that they talk to in Picard is actually the main Borg lady that Picard fights against when they were like in Next Generation. And
No,
I
she's
didn't even
not.
realize they
No,
were
she's
saying,
not. That's not her.
are you sure?
Yeah, 7 and 9 is from a different series.
No, not 709, not 709. Okay, you remember like only some of the Romulans were actually had been made Borgs and that they go,
the lady that freaks out that's been disconnected?
yes, that's the
Really?
one.
I didn't know
She's the
that.
original one that fights with Picard at the end of the Next Generation season, right before the movie
Yeah.
comes out.
Huh. I didn't know that. I'll have to
I
check
didn't
that
either
part
until I
out.
actually went back and looked at some of the old
Crazy.
episodes.
She's the Romulan Borg because they're like they say that her ship that got captured by the
only
Borg,
Romulans.
the only Romulans that were ever assimilated. Yeah, that's crazy. I was like 7 and 9's not the because there's also a movie where they go up against the Borg and there's
Right.
like a main
It came
chick in
right
that one.
after. Yeah, it came right after the
Series ended.
the series in like they had a series and a series ending in Next Generation where Captain Picard was actually assimilated and made a Borg, and then they rescued him.
Oh,
and
not the series ending. You mean the season ending?
Yeah, sorry, season ending. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they make him, they get him
Yes.
back, whatever. And then after that season, they released a movie that was the Next Generation that had to do with them fighting the Borg. And they used Picard because apparently Picard could still feel them or something.
Right.
And he led them to the Borg and helped defeat the Borg.
Yeah. They captured Data.
Yes. They really liked Data.
Board. Yeah.
Everyone likes Data.
Yeah.
Everyone's always trying to capture Data, and like,
yeah,
I just saw one on the on that Lower Decks one that just came out this season, where it was about collectors, and in Next Generation, these collectors tried to like collect Data. He was the only.
Yeah, I remember that episode in Next Generation.
Right, exactly. So the Lower Decks just had their version of it.
So on this Lower Deck show, like, is the idea that it's like the episodes you've already seen, but with these people, and no, they're all new episodes?
All new episodes on a different ship. It's not even on the Enterprise. It's like, so I can't remember, the Cerebros or something.
Okay, but they do make reference to shit that happens on that ship in Next Generation.
Exactly. They're like, because like they run into those collectors, and they're like, oh yeah, this was just like that mission where they tried to collect data.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there was another one.
It's like the same universe, essentially.
Exactly. And there's another one where they like visit this, and their whole thing is like they make second contact. Everyone makes, is all badass about first contact with a new race. Well, this ship is in charge of second contact, where they like, oh, okay, well, here's your seeds to plant enormous plants that can feed everybody or something like that.
Right.
They're the ones in charge of.
Well, yeah, because normally, like when they do make first contact, it's like, we'll be sending, like he'll say something about it at the end about the, Starfleet will follow up.
These guys are the ones that set up the administration stuff. Okay, this is going to be your secret code when you call into the Federation. This is going to be your nickname, or we're going to call you Planet 2718.
Right.
Whatever.
I will say, in watching the show again 20 years later, with the society being so much different than it is today, like the idea that that it's like a family shit, you know, like that they have their kids on board with them while they're doing all this ridiculously crazy shit all the time. You're like, what the fuck kind of parent would subject their children to that shit on a regular basis? You know what I mean? It's crazy. I mean, those kids almost die in like every other episode. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Well, I think I mean, the responsible parents left their kids at home
Yeah.
and didn't take them with them.
Right. I guess so. Right. I guess so. But they on the show, they comment all the time about how great it is that it's a family ship and that you can take your family with you as long as you don't mind that they die occasionally. You know,
They almost die every single episode.
and I mean, you know, how many? That's the other thing I noticed too is that it's like some shit will happen and they're like, they're reporting fatalities on decks, blah blah blah, through blah blah blah, and you're like, yeah, how many of them were kids? You know?
They just happen to not hit the nurseries.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they never comment on who it was that died because that, you know, that makes us not give a shit. You know, it's not anybody, you know, you're gonna miss.
That's the lower decks thing. That's the whole idea about the lower decks
Right.
thing. Is there are the numbers.
Right. Right. These are the guys that when they beam down to a planet, they're the ones that aren't coming back, essentially.
Yeah. Into number 1 and into number 2.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. What about
They were called, like, I think they were called red shirts in something I read that they were called red shirts, and they always go down and it's like, oh yeah, there's the red shirt, he's dead.
Right. There are some red shirts because like eventually it changes, but like the Reading Rainbow guy, Data are red shirts in the beginning, like when the show starts, and then they get higher rankings and they become yellow shirt. But yeah, exactly. It's like if you don't know the name of the guy beaming down, he's not coming back. Essentially, is that's an accurate rule to the away party. If you don't know the guy's name, he's fucked.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Did you see the movie, the Tim Allen movie?
I was just gonna say that I love that.
And the guy's like, nobody knows my name. I'm not coming back. I'm the guy. He's like, no, because you know it's Galaxy Quest. Anybody doesn't know it.
Quest.
Such a good fucking movie because it's like, it's like a parodable movie, but it's not really. You know what I mean? Because they're kind of making fun of it, but not. I mean, it's an amazing movie. I don't know that you can really compare it to another movie. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. You're right. It's not a parody because they're actors.
Right.
And they're actually
they're making fun of it, but in a way that shows that they actually really love it. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's totally a joke, you know? This shit is so fucking funny. But anyways, the idea is that
and the actors are wonderful.
It's an amazing cast. I mean,
it's an amazing cast.
It's an amazing cast. It's in one of those. Netflix does that the movies that made us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's one. Oh no, yeah, I think it is. I also watched. Amazon has a show about that movie, making the movie and stuff that's really good as well too. But it's really fucking good. It's an amazing fucking cast, and the whole idea. If anybody hasn't seen it, I don't want to spoil it. But this,
if anyone hasn't seen it, you need to go stop right now. Go see it.
No, but I mean, it's not a spoiler. It would be like a like a trailer would have the gist of the movie is that like Tim Allen is like, it's essentially like they're the cast of the original Star Trek, and they're like they play the actors and they like travel around going to like the conventions and stuff, and then like these these guys show up saying that they need their help, and they're like aliens who watch the show and don't realize it's a show. You know what? It is kind of like to that part like the Three Amigos, where where they hire the Three Amigos not realizing they're actors.
I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, absolutely.
And they beam them up into space, you know, and they're like, you know, none of it's supposed to be real. It's a TV show, and then they have to go on a real mission, and one spoiler, it's a small one. One of the guys that goes with him is just like ensign number 7 or something like that, who goes around
Died
the
on
shows
a-
with him, and
on a
then
mission.
he's in the real mission, and he realizes like he's the guy that nobody knows their name, and he's not gonna make it because that person always fucking dies in the show. Oh, that shit is such a good movie. What about, do you like Will Wheaton?
I'm cross between that. I think it was stupid that he was on the show. I do remember liking him when he was on the show, but I think it's stupid that he's on the show and that he happens to be the best pilot out of all the pilots in the freaking cosmos that gets to pilot the Enterprise, which is the flagship of the Federation. I think
Yeah,
it's
I mean, in
ridiculous.
the show, he doesn't get to fly it because he's the best pilot ever. He comes on as the doctor's mom. The mom and Captain Picard have like a friendship because he was there when her husband died, and he was the one that told her and like has kind of looked after him. And then
Right, but it's
she's
the
on the
flagship of the Federation. You
yeah
don't get like somebody that is there because of what is it called when you hire your family?
nepotism.
You don't get the nepotism kid to drive the Cadillac.
Yeah, I mean, I you're not wrong, okay, but to play devil's advocate, they're out in the middle of nowhere. The kid is actually like he studies all the stuff and he knows how to do it all. And there's what happens is there's an episode, I just watched it too, but essentially he saves everybody's asses somehow. And not by being like the smartest kid in the, like he just, he does something smart and is the reason why they don't get fucked. And as a reward, the captain makes him an acting ensign, which is the lowest. The reason he does it is because he's not allowed on
The bridge.
the bridge, and so he gives him the lowest possible ranking he could give him, so that the kid can come on the bridge as like a reward for saving everybody's life.
Yeah, but no offense, he should have had like O'Hara's position where they just like all they do is
Answers the phone. Yeah, that position doesn't exist though anymore because it was a bullshit position in the first place. That there was a fucking secretary on a fucking spaceship,
That's the position they should have given him, not the driver.
I mean, here's the thing. They talk about how amazing the pilots are and shit. Like, if you watch them, everybody should be pretty amazing at that shit because they like driving the plane is like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, how hard could that be? I could do that shit. It's like 4 buttons you got to know how to push,
I've played Star Fox. I got that.
But I didn't really mean his character in the show for what it's worth. I mean, like, do you like him?
Still, I'm on the fence. He's funny. He is funny. He's a good guy, and like he's a pretty good guy. But I think he's found his niche, and I think he's right where he needs to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like,
good enough to be like famous. He's not interesting enough to catch attention for like a long period of time. I think he's found his niche.
Well, especially now, because now he's the behind, like, popular shows. It's really common now with popular shows, especially on streaming, where it's cheaper to do it, right? But like on a lot of shows that are popular, after the show, there's like the after show, right?
Yeah.
And they interview people that are on the show and, dive deep into everything. And there's like 4 Star Trek shows on right now. And he's the behind, he's the after show for all of them. And
really?
So when you say he found his niche, he's definitely found his niche.
Really found his
niche. Because he's always said he's a geek and into all that stuff, and he's in the Star Trek family, and he totally is a Star Trek geek. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could play a character in Star Trek and not be as like, into it as he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like a fan that's also a character, you know? And so it really is kind of perfect because like he knows all the people, or a lot of the people, you know what I mean? Like personally, which makes it interesting when he's interviewing them. And then he knows like all the background of Star Trek and stuff because he was a huge fan of it. And then he knows what it's like. He can relate to the people on the show because he's done it himself. You know what I mean?
Did
And
you ever
so
see his, that game show? He had like a game board show. That it was kind of cool. I mean, I
yeah,
watched it. It's basically about board games, and he would.
I
It would
loved him on Big Bang. He was fucking hilarious on
oh,
that
he was
show.
hilarious.
That was
He
like a
wasn't.
perfect role for him. And I
Apparently he's been
actually
doing, like,
kind of liked
voiceovers.
him, huh?
He's been doing voiceovers forever.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. I mean, like, I love the guy, the person. I think he's amazing. His character on Star Trek, I don't hate him like other people do, but he's not. I mean, it's not my favorite character for sure. He's like super dorky, like super like. I mean, he's just like, you know, he never does anything wrong, and then when he does, he like immediately knows. He like kids are not that good. You know what I mean? Like until I was like a junior or senior in high school, I was like didn't want to get like I was a people would consider like a straight edge kid, and I still wasn't like as dorky as he. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's the guy who wants to be the hall monitor. You know what I mean? Like he's just like super fucking. I always do the right thing bullshit. You know, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I would go as far as to argue that like there'd never be that character anymore. You know what I mean? Like
I did
nobody's
like him in Stand By Me.
that was gonna be my next thing. Hold on real quick. I don't think anybody would write a character that like two-dimensional, you know what I mean, anymore.
Right.
Like I'm just the goody two-shoe kid that always, you know, I mean, like it's boring, you know. I don't think it was his fault, you know, like he played the part they gave him, you know. But here's the thing. I like him in Stand By Me, but who's he better than in that movie?
Fat kid.
Maybe. Even that fat kid
Jerry,
played
whatever.
that part really well. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't the most interesting character, right? But like I had no problem believing that's who he was. You know what I mean? Like he played it well.
Yeah, but I mean that's what it was supposed to be. I mean, it was supposed to be like 4 different kids from different that are completely different, and he played his part really well. Like I don't think you can effectively compare him to anyone else because his character was completely different from the other 4 or the other 3.
But you can, I mean, regardless of the character somebody plays, you can compare their ability to play the character as well as they did. They don't have to be the same character to think one of them's a better actor than the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he did.
I don't think it's fair to put anyone up against River Phoenix. That guy was amazing.
And even the other kid, the Corey, one of the Coreys.
Yeah, Feldon.
He's a good actor too. He really was.
As a child actor and a teenage actor, he was an amazing actor.
Yeah, he really was. He was really good.
He just kept playing he was using his teenage skills and child skills as an adult, and they just didn't play well.
Well, I mean, he fell off the rails too. Like he was definitely one of those like child actors who had a hard time after, you know what I mean? Like he got into drugs and all, and like he had a hard life for a while and then cleaned himself up after that. He's still around.
I thought it was Corey, the other Corey that was that. I mean, the other Corey.
It was both of them. It was both
I
of
didn't
them.
realize both of them had that much trouble.
They both did. He cleaned himself up. The other one did. That was why. The other one did have more trouble because like they both had like a good 10, 15 year span where they were just fuck ups, you know? And then the other one cleaned himself up and the other guy died from a drug overdose, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
They did a show together. Even that show was fun to watch.
I loved that show.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was sad because you knew that guy was just falling apart the whole time. And yeah.
I can't really hear y'all. I got an 18-wheeler in front of me.
All right, man. It's all good. We'll see you next week.
And I'm Hey, you remember Keenan?
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn my video on.
What up, man?
The real
What's
man,
up?
the legend.
nice.
Yeah, he home.
It's good to see you, man. How you doing?
What you say?
I said, how's he doing?
They say he doing good, man. He
Good.
home.
I'm glad to hear it. He looks good. Looks
Yeah,
like he's
say
doing
he
good.
man. Word.
All right.
Yeah, it's hard to hear you. I'm in a parking garage.
Yeah, it's
right
all
now,
good.
So,
That's all good.
but,
Y'all do your thing.
huh?
I said it's all good. You do your thing.
All right, so.
All right.
Hey.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, so Corey Feldman. Granted, I like the kid and I loved him, but I guess about, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, he decided to start a band and actually did only one show that I actually saw. It was amazing.
He's good?
How terrible it was.
Oh.
It was like one of those things that people do just to like stroke their own ego, and it totally came off that way because he was like the lead singer and he was trying to be like real dark and like introspective or whatever, and then he had 3 other really hot chicks that were the rest of the band that were like really scantily clad. I mean, they looked like models that learned how to play instruments kind of thing. And it was, oh my God, it was amazing. If you haven't seen it, find it somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you might be right. Also, sometimes it's just some shit that, like, at a point in your life, it's like, I get to do whatever the fuck I want to do now. You know what I mean? Like,
you're absolutely right. But I mean,
you don't have to like it, Yeah.
It straight up came off that way.
Yeah. I really like it. I've never really seen him as like an ego stroking kind of guy. Like, he seems like a pretty down to earth dude.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and even the show, he comes off pretty good that way.
Yeah.
But you can tell that, and I mean, it's you have to see it from his side of view too.
Yeah.
He does think that he really is a hot commodity and that he really is, this thing, whatever. And we're seeing it from our couches and saying, oh, you're kind of a washed up actor that was really hot when you were, get over that shit. But it's
he still acts too. Like, I mean, they did those Ninja Turtle movies, and he did a remake to the vampire movie.
That was terrible. Did you see it?
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was. But the other side of that is most shit is, right? Like, we see the really good shit, but like most shit is bad, and people will still make it and put it out and people still watch it for some reason. But like, you know what I mean? Like 90% of the shit that gets put out there sucks balls. Like, it's really bad shit. And then people make it because it makes enough money and you got to work, and you know what I mean? But like, that's what most stuff is. I think he also played some part in like the Ninja Turtle revamp.
I will have to watch that. I forgot that he was in that. He was like a reporter or something, right?
No, the 2 Corys were the fucking turtles.
They were actually the turtles?
Yeah.
I did not know that at all.
Yeah, I think he was Donatello and the other one was like Michelangelo.
Holy crap. No, I didn't know that. I
They're
really have to watch it again.
All the original ones, like where they were actually in the suits and everything, all 3 of them. Yeah.
So you're saying he was in the original movies or in the remake?
They were the Ninja Turtles in the original ones, and then when they revamped it, he wasn't a turtle. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was a cartoon.
Oh, okay. So he's the voice?
I mean, I don't know the technical part of who was in the suits and shit like that, so it might have just, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to look that up because that's crazy nonsense.
I mean,
okay. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, he was Donatello's voice.
There you go. And which one? And who was the other one?
Michelangelo, right? The third one, he was also Donatello's voice. Apparently, he did not get the second one.
Okay. Who was Michelangelo in the first one?
Oh well, now
The other Corey.
it's possible.
I mean, I know he was in it. I'm just trying to do it based on the voice and the character that I'm pretty sure was that one.
It was no. I thought for a second it said it was a writer. Let me check. Let's see. And you think he was definitely in it?
Yeah, he was one of the turtles. They were both one of the turtles.
Nope. I just have. It only says Feldman.
Hold on.
Of course. Let's see. Full casting crew. Corey Feldman was Donatello. Where's Michelangelo? Was Michael Sisti?
Okay, hold on. Okay, wait. Okay.
Corey Haim, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
I got nothing on Corey Haim.
Really?
I don't know. It's just what it says.
I believe you. I was just surprised.
I'll go on to Corey Haim's webpage if we.
That's Corey Feldman.
And I love Corey. Like when he was a kid, unbelievable.
Yeah, it looks like you're right. It looks like you're right. It was just him. But he was friends. Then it wasn't him, but like him and one of the other turtles. It was like another one of his friends, like that played one of the other turtles. I thought it was the two Coreys, but I could be wrong. I guess I was wrong about that. And I do remember when they were filming that show, the reality show with him, he kept Corey Haim kept saying, like, we need to do another Lost Boys movie like that, like we should do it, and like we need to go and pitch it, and it turned out that they had already come to I hate that they're both Feldman and pitched the idea, but they just wouldn't work with Haynes.
Well, you realize he's actually in the movie, except he got cut. And
the sequel?
Yeah.
No, I know, and you know why if you watch the reality series.
Yeah.
Because they show him filming it, and he like won't come out of his trailer because he's in there getting high. And it's only after Feldman was like, no, we can't do it without him, because they came to him and were like, he's hard to work with and he fucks up all the time, and we'll do it, but not with him. And like he, and then he keeps asking him to go talk to him about it, and he just doesn't. Like he's just gotten out of rehab, so he doesn't want to say they're gonna do the movie just without you, so he's like trying to, and then like he tells him, and then he goes back to him, is like, you can't do it without him, like I won't do it. And he like totally goes to bat for him, and then he does exactly what they're afraid he's gonna fucking do, and fucks it all up. And I remember
he's in a cut scene, and he's also in after the credit scene, he like shows up, and he's actually a vampire, and it's supposed to be a setup for the third movie, but he died before that. And also they probably didn't want to do it with him because he fucked that movie
up. Yeah. I mean, it's really sad because obviously it wasn't completely his fault. He had some real fucking issues. I remember them, like he's at his shrink's office and like they're not in there, but you can hear it, which it's like he had to have agreed to that, man. Like, goddamn, like he desperately didn't want to get forgotten about, obviously, but like he's like having an argument with the psychiatrist about how it's okay because they're prescription drugs and a doctor prescribed them to him, and so it's not really an issue for this like serious fucking drug addict to be taking like pain medication and shit because it was prescribed. And she's like, it doesn't matter, like you're an addict. And he's like, yeah, but I actually, but I do have pain, it's like, oh man, it's so sad, like
Yeah. And what's sad is that, I mean, he was an amazing actor as a child. I loved all his movies.
Yeah, I gotta say I liked Feldman better, but he was good.
Because Feldman was actually second fiddle, really. I mean,
I
Feldman in
know,
all the movies that they were together,
it's
Feldman was
true.
second fiddle.
I think a lot of that maybe had to do with the fact that he was the like good looking one. You know what I mean? Like he was
I
like the
don't doubt it. He
yeah,
was the better looking kid.
right. But I think Feldman
Silver
was the
Bullet,
better
man,
actor.
I love Silver Bullet. You ever seen or heard of Silver Bullet?
What's it about? I watched most of
Uh,
the movies that they were in.
yeah, no, this is just him. This is before they became
Is it the rollerblading one?
No, this is actually the werewolf one. He's
Oh,
in a wheelchair, like he's like wheelchair bound, and he gets
Haynes,
some, huh?
Haynes or Feldman?
Haynes, because the other
Okay,
one isn't in it.
okay.
He's just a kid in a wheelchair, and he believes someone's a werewolf, and it's about him trying to figure out if this other guy's a werewolf. It turns out he is a werewolf, and he has to get a silver bullet to kill the werewolf. And somebody, I'm not sure who, like one of
Sounds
his dad's
familiar.
buddies or something, builds him a motorized wheelchair, but like a super motorized that like hits top speeds on the freaking road and shit, and has like flags and streamers and all sorts of crap. It's a great movie.
The one that I liked him in the most, um, Feldman wasn't in it. It was just Corey Haynes, and he was like, it was him and his little brother, and they like lived on the streets, and he like joins this gang. They're like, I mean, and this was obviously 80s, right? But like they're like the big gang, and they're a rollerblading gang, and they
Awesome.
sell this drug, this like new drug that like, it's like its own thing, and he like joins the gang to make money to take care of him and his brother, but then of course it doesn't go well, right? Because and so then
Why
he
would
has
it?
to like fight to get out of the gang, and there's all these rollerblading scenes. I mean, it's a bad movie, but like it was not actually that bad. Like it was halfway decent considering how bad the story is. What I mean? Like, it was still actually halfway decent. I don't even know what it's called, but I mean, I remember when I was like 10, it must, it came on all the fucking time. I must have watched the movie back when there was no such thing as DVRing and shit. I mean, think of, to have seen a movie like 10 times, like this had to have just come on and I watched it. You know what I mean? Like, so it obviously got played a lot because I just randomly saw it 10 times on TV. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a recording of it or anything. I'm sure it was like on HBO or something, and obviously all back, everything they put on there played a bunch of times, but still, like all the ones that like he's known for, I didn't really like those ones. License to Drive, no, is
I
that what it
like
was?
that one. That one was fun.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
That was a good movie. It was fun. I liked it. It was funny. It was like
You didn't like the Lost Boys?
a little
Yeah.
bit, and they were
Yeah.
probably the better part of the movie too. Um, I mean, it was all right for the time. It was pretty good. I don't know. It was all right. I don't like it as much as other people do. And then there was. Did you ever see the one, uh, where he plays like he's like a security specialist that like robs banks, and never mind that he's 17 or something, and he figures out the vulnerability. Like they hire, he's not a criminal. Like people hire him to like find the vulnerabilities in it. And I'm sure, I don't even remember the whole movie, but obviously something goes wrong. You're right. It's not obviously not just a movie about a guy who gets paid by banks the whole time. You know what I mean? Like somebody tricks him or he gets caught up in some shit, and he has to use his master fucking security mind at 17 years old to like figure it all out.
Right. So your wonderful movie was 1990 rated R prayer of the roller boys.
There you go.
In a distant and near future, America, a young man infiltrates a powerful drug-dealing, rollerblading youth gang that runs his town in order to end their reign for good. Did you see this?
You know what? As many times I watched the movie, that might have been the only time I've heard the name of it. Because it also, when you turned it on, it wasn't like you could turn the TV on and it would show you the name of the movie on the TV either. You know what I mean? Like it would have had to have been. Hold on just a second. Give me 1 second, sorry. Look up the other one, the security one.
All right. So just for a shout out, Mark Pellegrino was in the movie. Mark Pellegrino, the only reason I know him was because he plays Lucifer on Supernatural, and he's awesome in that. So the other one that he wanted to see was Dream a Little Dream, Last Resort, Fast Getaway, Double Switch. It's a video game. Dream Life 101, maybe Demolition High. Never Too Late, Shooter on the Side, Busted, Batman and Robin, nice. Snowboard Academy, Fever Lake, Dream a Little Dream, Fast Getaway. Let's try that. Oh, it's Fast Getaway 2.
Okay, I will say one of the new things that comes with like being over 40 is like I could need to go to the bathroom bad enough that it would be really uncomfortable. Now at age 42, I can need to go to the bathroom so bad that at some point, if I don't, I'm gonna fucking go to the bathroom anyway. There becomes a point where it's not like, oh man, I just really need to go to the bathroom. But like, if I don't want to pee on the floor, I'm gonna get up and go to the bathroom because in about 20 seconds, it's not gonna matter if I go to the bathroom or not. Did you find the other one?
I'm not sure.
Hold on, I'll find it.
Because I got one that's called Fast Getaway 2.
Yeah, that's probably the sequel to it.
He was in Fast Getaway 1.
Oh, well, you know, like, that's still doesn't make it not. I mean, maybe I just didn't know it was a sequel, you know? Hold on. I'm sure if I see it, I'll be able to tell you.
He's also in a movie called Double O Kid about a hacker.
No, it's not a hacker. Like he actually like goes into the banks and robs them.
Well, I think that's the second one. Apparently, you were watching the Fast Getaway 2.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's certainly possible.
A former robber whose partner was his father has reformed and is now running an insurance business with his girlfriend. An ex-partner frames him for a burglary. When his father gets out of prison, they go after the ex-partner.
Yeah, that's got to be it. That's got to be it. He was Lucas.
He was Lucas.
That was a good one.
That was a good movie too. It just seemed, yeah, as he gets older, the movies gets worse.
Yeah.
Ooh, Wishmaster. He was in Wishmaster.
Busted.
Demolition High and Demolition University.
Crank. He was in Crank. I didn't know that.
I did not know that either. He might be the guy that tells them, hey, you can get high off of the, what is it, the breath spray? I love Crank.
I didn't realize, like, I knew that they did a lot of movies together, but like, there's all these movies that I didn't know either one of them have done that they're in together. You know what I mean?
Oh, Corey Haim.
Yeah, like, Did you know that there was a National Lampoon's Last Resort that they were both in?
They were both in that movie?
Yeah. In 94.
Oh, I see. It's just called Last Resort on one of them.
Yeah. I mean, National Lampoon is just like, that's who
Dream Serve,
made it.
whatever.
Yeah. Wait, was what was the name of the movie that I was talking about? Demolition. What was it?
Fast Getaway 2.
Fast Getaway 2. Okay. So
Dream a Little Dream 2.
so he
He
is
was
in
in
Fast.
Fast
Yeah, I thought
Getaway.
you said he wasn't in Fast Getaway.
I'm sorry, I see it now. He was in Fast Getaway. Oh, that's
Yeah.
hilarious. Him in
This
Fast
might
Getaway. That's awesome.
this
It's like
might have been
Vanilla
in
Ice.
it. No, I don't think I saw this one. I think I saw two because this one he does it for his dad. The first one he does it for his dad, and the one I remember it was him. You said
No,
Vanilla Ice is?
no, he's not in it. He just looks like Vanilla Ice in the
Oh
movie.
yeah, he definitely does.
A lighthearted tale about a gang of bank robbers who fall out and split up. The brains of the gang is a boy who, with his father, successfully continue their crime spree. Annoyed at this, Lily and her loyal and stupid companion decide to kidnap the boy, Nelson, and force him to work for them.
That's the second one.
That's the first one.
That's the first one.
Yep.
Fuck. I'm gonna have to like watch at least one of these shitty fucking movies again to know which one it was.
Oh, you thought it was wonderful. I thought a minute ago.
No, I never actually said that. I just said I remembered that one. Remember, I had said I didn't like most of his movies. That would have been one of them. Because I was saying License to Drive was actually good.
License to Drive was in 1988. He also did a movie called Watchers in 1988. And then he did Dream a Little Dream. Oh, I remember Dream a Little Dream, and that was both of them. This is probably where they fell from grace.
Sure. In what year?
88 or 89.
I mean, they did Last Resort in 94, you know?
I think that was on the way down.
How is Stand By these? I hate fucking Google's IMBD or whatever you want to call it. Like it's not nearly as good.
Oh yeah, you know what? While you were gone, you know the guy who plays Satan in Supernatural?
I think because there's more than one, but yeah, I think so.
He was in your prayer of the Roller Boys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Steve Prayer, the Roller Boys isn't on my list. And how is
Are you looking at Corey Haim or Corey Feldman?
Haim?
It's Corey Haim.
No, I'm looking at Haim, and that's what I'm saying is like, you know what else is not on here?
Huh.
Stand By Me. Like, how's that not
Wow, that's rough.
first or second one that comes up? That is by no, that's not him. That's why. That's him.
That's yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. But my rollerblading one's not on here, and one man's,
That was 1990, in case you're
that
looking.
was definitely, one of his best. Oh, Prayers of the Roller Boys. Here we go.
I'm telling you, it's right. It was on his way down. I think
Wait,
License to Drive was the big one.
Yep, there's the guy. Yep, there's Satan.
Yep, there's Satan.
Like they're the only two people I recognize.
That is also true. No, there's another lady in there. One of the main ladies in it, I think, is recognizable. Patricia Arquette.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, you're right. She's a. Is that Arquette that in that like? Didn't she have like brothers and sisters that are actors?
That's David Arquette.
That you're right.
And then
Yeah.
then she had a brother who became a sister
Ah,
and
yeah.
then died. And I believe
Xana Arquette, David Arquette, Alexis Arquette, and
Alexis,
Richmond Arquette.
I believe she took her life. I'm not sure.
I like David Arquette.
I liked all the Arquette's family. Like they're all hilarious.
Wow, his brother looks a lot like him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the other sister is like a pretty big actress, right?
She is too. Yeah, she does a lot of like secondhand stuff, but she does. That's Rosanna Arquette, I think.
Yeah, I like her.
Oh no, it's not Rosanna. It's somewhere else.
No, it's
She-
Rosanna's the one I'm thinking of.
Really?
Yeah.
There was another one that I thought maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
Oh, goodness gracious. Apparently, she's ashamed she was born white and privileged. It disgusts her, and she feels shame. Yeah, give me a break. How can you be ashamed of something you had nothing to do with?
Don't ask me.
Oh, you know what I saw the other day that I really liked? I was watching like it's kind of like motivational things. Like my work sent out this thing that like it was meant to help us at work, where it was like this video, and it was like it was this person just randomly passing by people, and but then like the video would stop, and it would be like, this guy just found out that he has 2 months to live, this guy just found out that his wife doesn't want to be resuscitated. I think it must have had to have been in a hospital, because it was all health related, now that I'm thinking about it. But it was, it was just like this idea that like, you often don't realize what's going on with other people, and
Yeah,
you should,
sure. I've actually seen something similar.
yeah, it's a good point. I get it. I mean, it's kind of an obvious one, but maybe not for everybody. So that's fine. And so they had us all watch that. And then it was a YouTube link. And so then there was like other things in it that like I was like, this is interesting, So I started watching different ones, and it was like Denzel Washington giving a commencement speech. And
Yeah.
then there was one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I saw the Oprah Winfrey one was pretty good.
There's a
but-
book, I think it's the Book of Joy, and one of the like tenets is that to take nothing personal. Never
Right.
take it personal, because it's most of the time it's not even about you at all. It's about what the other person is going through.
Well, the one that I really like that I still watch a lot when I need to feel, I don't know, like when I'm in the mood and I need to see it, is a commencement speech that a guy did. It's called This Is Water. And it starts off with a story about two fish, and I can't remember how it goes, but he's like saying something about something about
Is
the
it be a gold?
water. Huh?
Is it be a goldfish?
Well, they're talking about something, and something about the water comes up, like I can't remember what that, but the other, like
And what
he
sort
tells
of
them, and then at the end, the other fish goes, "What's water?" It's just great. And but so the whole thing, these are people graduating college, and his whole thing is about, for the first time in your lives, you're about to experience like the day in day out of like of normal life that you don't really experience as a kid, where you get up and go to work every day, and you have to like go to the grocery store even though you just worked 8 hours, and you have to like like live, and it's kind of monotonous, and it's repetitive, and it can kind of really suck, you know what I mean? And that's pretty much how most people's lives are, you know? And um it's pretty cool though, because the thing about it is that like he tells this story about a guy who just got off work and he doesn't have any food at home, so he's gonna have to like stop, and you know he's gonna have to be stuck in traffic with people driving the, you know, the big SUVs that, you know, use too much gas and pollute, and you're gonna have to get in line with the overweight lady who's eating the chips, and the cart with the wheel doesn't work, you know, and like he like tells the whole story and it's all pretty negative. And he's like, but here's the thing, like you can choose to live your life that way, or you can choose to see, you know, the beauty of it. And the whole thing is that essentially, and he says, I'm not saying that it's easy to live it the other way. It takes actual work. He's like, my natural instinct is to be tired and negative and see the negative and everything, but it's your choice to do that. You could decide that the person driving the SUV got in a horrible car accident and now has to drive a big car because it's the only way they feel safe enough to get in a car, right? And
Right.
you could
The
see
only
the
thing you can
lady.
control is the way you react to things.
Right, exactly. It's your decision how to react to things, because especially most of the time it really is totally what you decide it's going to be, because you don't get any other information except what you assume to be true. And
Yeah,
you can make
that's all they can
nice
do is about anything.
assumptions. Right. And you could choose to make nice positive assumptions, or you could do what most of us do when we're tired and worn out and make sad negative assumptions about everything. And even though it's harder to do the other thing, you tend to be happier when you're doing it that way. And life just is, you know, is a happier, more fun place to be when you assume the positive, unless you have another reason not to, instead of assuming the negative. And that's kind of the whole gist of the story. Anyways, it's a really good one. And at the end he says, just keep telling yourself, this is water, this is water, this is water. It's a really good one, you should check it out. But the one I was watching, I don't know, I'm gonna have to find it, because I don't even know what video it was, but it was when I was scanning through all of this, and they're at college, and it's the professor of the class, and takes this big like class of like 100 and something students out, and it's like, you know, how many of you guys don't, you know, don't have to have a job, you know, when as you know aren't going to have a job to pay for school, right? And how many of you guys like have a car, and how many of you guys like you know, like are going to go on vacation and not have to stay at an empty college during spring break, right? And just like all these things. And every time, if you're one of these people, you take a step forward, right? And essentially, oh, you know, through all of this, there's like people at the very beginning and people at the very end. And the whole idea is like, okay, now turn around and look at the advantages and privileges that you have gotten you this much further ahead than all these people, and none of them were because of a single thing that you've done or accomplished. Right? Like you've gotten here by the hard work and so forth of other people. Like you didn't, you know, you're not ahead of these people because you're amazing or smart or talented or hardworking. You've just gotten to start here, you know what I mean? And I was like, I really like that.
Awesome, done
Yeah.
with kids, and it's mixed race, obviously. And there's a guy at the end of the field or whatever, and he like has his hands out or whatever, and he starts talking. He says, "Okay, if you've never ever heard a gunshot in your neighborhood, take a big step forward.
Right.
And if your parents dropped you off at school and picked you up from school every day, take a step forward.
Right.
If your lunches, you know, all this, and of course, you know, you start seeing the racial division, and then you see them that you've gotten this same thing, you've gotten all this privilege, nothing that you've done has gotten you this far ahead. But then he actually has them race.
Right. The same thing.
And
Yeah.
of course, and he's like, I guarantee you, those guys behind you that had it rougher than you are gonna catch you.
Yeah.
They're
right.
gonna catch you, and they're most likely gonna surpass you.
Right. Right. Well, certainly can, at least, right? You know.
Yeah.
Right. But my favorite part of it is like, look at all the advantage you have. But my favorite part of it is none of these advantages are because of a single thing you did. Right? Because it's not just like that you have the advantages, but recognize that it's not because, like, sometimes you have advantages because you work hard, or like there are advantages you earn in life, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the ones you earn. Well, there's nothing wrong with any of them, but there's certainly something wrong with having those advantages and pretending that it's because you're special or something, when in fact you just happen to be born to the right parents or something.
Yeah. Oh, hey, so I do have to get going, but I did want to tell you about my share for this week.
All right.
I shared the video, and I'm hoping we'll get some more clicks this later on today, but I just wanted to show you or let you know what I put on. It says, come check out our discussion this week. Jeopardy host, retreat from Afghanistan, and the fun of cross-dressing.
And what?
And the fun of cross-dressing.
You just threw that in there?
Yeah, I'm hoping that there's going to be some extra clicks.
Yeah, apparently more than talks of vaccination will do it. Apparently, yeah, no, that sounds cool. I'm good with it. There was something I wanted to. What was it that I? Hold on one second. Did you see the new Lasso?
Yes, I did. I did see it. I liked it.
It was
I like
good.
that
I
whole
love that
show.
show.
That show's amazing.
Damn it! There was something I watched that I wanted to. I can't remember what.
In seeing that show, I actually went back and watched the We Are the Millers. I'm still in the middle of it, so don't like no spoilers. But that's also a great.
It's a movie, right? Oh wait, it's a movie, right? Not a show. Okay.
Yep.
It's a funny movie. I like him. He's a funny guy.
I thought he was from The Office, but it's the other guy that's from The Office.
Yeah.
Andy something.
Yeah. He is in much better shape than that guy. He's Jack Ryan is the one from The Office.
Oh yeah, no. That guy really is really good. No, Andy, the one that comes on later on to replace the main guy.
Oh yeah.
Because they look quite a lot alike, and they're both in that We Are the Millers, and that's how I figured out it wasn't him. Was because
my Mickey thinks that that the one from The Office looks like Jack.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, yeah, he does.
A little bit of an out of shape Jack, but
yeah.
I still think Jack looks like another guy. The two brothers that came out of Austin. One's got like sandy blonde hair, and the other one.
They're from Austin.
Yeah. They went to college in Austin. That's what I know. They went to
Wilson.
Yeah, the Wilson brothers.
Wilson brothers. He looks like the dark-haired one.
Yeah.
He does a little bit. I think he. Yeah, I mean he does. There's somebody. I might have to remember who it is. There's somebody that I was like, he really he looks like him, and then like he does and says stuff sometimes when I'm like, oh wow, it's like it's eerie how much he reminds me of my brother. I can't remember who it is now. We don't have to do this on the podcast, but what are you doing Tuesday?
I don't think I have anything.
Okay, I might need you to help me load up the old water heater and drive it down the street there's a dump right around the corner from my house. That one is kind of heavy. It's still got water in it. And
Jason Sudeikis.
Huh?
I didn't realize that was him. Like I've heard that name a whole lot, and I didn't realize that's who it was. Jason Sudeikis
is the guy from The Office.
Well, no, is the guy from is the coach.
What are we talking about? What coach? Lasso.
Lasso, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I've heard that name a lot, and I used to know who he was, and then like someone asked me, Amanda asked me who was the guy who played him, and I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah, he's so good. Anybody? Yeah. So I was gonna. There was a show I can't think of what it is. So how about just this? If anybody hasn't seen, what's it actually called?
Ted Lasso? What do you mean?
Ted Lasso? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody who hasn't seen Ted Lasso that likes to watch TV and laugh and then feel good about it, like it's a great show. Like I'm a drama person, like I like all the drama and stuff. This one is not that at all, and it's still just the greatest show ever. Like the main character, just like not only makes everybody feel good, but like all the people that want to hate him because he's that person inevitably end up loving him because he's that person. You know what I mean? Like he's like the annoying guy who's always happy. And you can't. There's a lot of those people that you can hate. This is just not one of them. Like he always wins you over, and you're like, nope, I love him. He's the greatest. The other guy who was like played the main part in the last episode, the retired player.
Oh gosh,
Kent.
he's awesome.
I mean,
Amazing.
I love that guy so much.
I don't know where he comes from or where he's from, but he's amazing.
So great. He's like the perfect balance of like the macho, I don't give a fuck guy, but he's not actually that guy. He's actually like super nice and that guy at the same time.
Yeah, he meets
Fucking
with the
great.
freaking, what was it, the
Wives Club thing.
The Wives Club.
They drink rosé and watch like crappy it's like a
They're supposed
Love
to also
Island
be
show
doing
or
like
something.
aerobics or something too.
Yeah. I think that's what they're supposed to be doing.
But they end up like watching.
But they actually get together to watch the like really stupid show and then don't tell anybody that part, I think is the idea. It's fucking great. It is a great fucking show. It just kind of pisses me off that it's like one of these new shows where there's like 8 or 10 episodes a season instead of like a lot more of it, because I want to watch a lot more of it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It gets me upset that like, well, even like yesterday when you told me there was a new episode, I like saw it and I was like, ah.
Yeah,
And it
exactly.
shows you. And what's worse is it like the stupid thing that we watch it on, which is the Apple Network or whatever. It shows you the like picture for the next episode. So
Oh
you,
yeah,
like,
I know.
Like, and
Apple
you're like,
does
oh,
that
come
coming
on.
soon.
Yeah.
Hulu started doing that shit too. It pisses me off so much. Like, I know there's another one coming. You don't have to tease me like that. What is wrong with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that shit drives me crazy too. All right, yeah, it's about that time. It's actually well past that time.
It's
So
way past that time.
yeah, everybody, thanks for watching. We will be back next week. Please participate. Who was it? I can't think of the name right now. Who is Hernan? Thank you, my man, for staying on as long as you can and participating in the conversation. Please come back next week. And soon, it seems, we will have a Hernan special episode. So stay tuned.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time today.
All right, guys. Stay safe. See you next week.